my laptop in half because I couldn't get the man here, Epic Eric, in here. So if y'all hear anything or don't hear anything, you gotta let me know. That's all right. You're jamming. I hear you. Baitman Jr.'s joined. I don't know what he's going to add to the conversation tonight, but it might be interesting. What color spinnerbait were you using today?
Red.
Red? Yeah. So how you cast that spinning rod?
Flip
the bail?
Mm-hmm.
Hold the line?
Yeah.
Pull it back? And I did try to let him use my Daiwa setup, which casts a lot better because it's more limber. It can load up. He'll get it eventually. He's actually not bad. I've got to get him with the wrist action where he's just trying to use the whole his whole body there. Now, if YouTube will load up so I can see the chat. If it ain't one thing, it's another. It's just that's how we got 59 people waiting on us / me. I don't know. I'll tell you, because of the events that's going through the United States, everybody's on the internet, so it's really slowed everything down quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many hours and all that I'm gonna get at my normal job because of it. I'm afraid it's going to really slow us down in like a month because. Alright guys, I can see the chat here. Let me pop it out. That way we can answer questions and whatnot. I gotta maybe get a different stream program or something because long story short, don't want to hide the chat. I'm gonna pop it out. Can't hear Eric. Okay, well, you know, that happens. We'll get it figured out. Go up here to settings. That's the webcam. I'm on Eric. Audio output. Can y'all hear Eric now?
Hello, hello. Hello, Bass Universe. What's cooking? I was trying to do some... No. Yeah. Somebody said yeah.
Okay. You can hear Eric now? We're good. I don't hear an echo. Anybody else hear an echo? Alright, we're good. So, Eric, welcome back to Baitman Live.
Hey.
Now we can
Thanks for having me on again.
Now we can get normal. So, I'm going to tell you, it's been crappy weather here.
Man, right here too in Maryland, I can tell you that much, man. We got a couple days of sunshine mixed in with a lot of rain and clouds. So,
well, I'll tell you,
it rained hard last night.
I'll tell you what happened. Is this water went from low 50s to almost 60 degrees, and the fish have kind of
moved up in a hurry.
So we're going to need some tips from you on catching these shallow bass, because actually they get really finicky when the water rises really quick and gets really warm. So I think we got to talk about some spinnerbaits first.
There's no question we got to talk about some spinnerbaits. So I was down in Alabama. So I got the call last minute from Travis Manson because the guy from Beast Coast Bass Fishing, I don't know what he got, but it was flu-like, and he said he couldn't make it. So Travis said, "You down?" I said, "Yep." And I drove 13 and a half hours one day to 1:30 in the morning, got up and finished the assignment. Met him at the place, and then we dumped the boat in and went fishing, and we cracked him pretty good. I ended up, after a couple days in Alabama, some private lakes, and then Wilson, throwing big swim baits with 3/4 ounce head, slow rolling for smallies, and we got a couple megas out there.
I saw that.
Yeah, ended up at Clark's Hill, which I'd never fished before, with Jason Burrows. And what do you think we were doing? Slow rolling. A big old hog collar spinnerbait. He was throwing a bait called a scorpion, and he did good on the deeper fish, but man, they wanted that friggin' hog collar right there, dude. That thing's been beat up. I've repainted the head a couple times. I can't believe the wire ain't broken. But you can see I hand tied the skirt because the skirt started to fall off because the, with them rubberized stop. And this is the old Lumaflex skirt, man. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Lumaflex. That's how old that
looks
bait
like
is.
real thin hair.
It is real thin hair, so it's got a lot of action. I mean, I had a trailer and a trailer hook to it, but that's what the big fish of the trip ate right there, man. Slow rolling about 3 foot of water. What was really cool was they had really super high water too, and then they started drawing the reservoir down, but the hay grass was just underneath the surface of the water, and those bigger females pre-spawn were right on the outside edge of that hay grass, and it was predictable, man. I was fishing it just like I'd fish any type of pad field or grass bed, points and pockets, man, and they were there. When the day warmed up, I did catch a couple on a head clacker buzzbait. He made me give him mine. We had about 26 pounds that day, but he came in second place in his derby with 18. It was the same black buzzbait, but with a gold blade. So,
it looks like old Chatterbuzz, very similar to like the Booger Man or whatnot.
Here it is. Actually, you're exactly right. It is a Chatterbuzz. You see the head, and I bought some blades from Lure Parts online instead of the hole through the blade. This is one of those floppy blades. You could see, right?
Yep.
The wire does not go through the blade, and I modify it in a couple ways, but you could see that this will clack the head, and you can make it sound by just bending out the blade. But it's a super thin wire buzzbait.
Yeah, it is.
And this whole buzzbait will vibrate. Now I put a 1/2 ounce blade, and this was the trick to this buzzbait: a 1/2 ounce blade on a 1/4 ounce head. I could reel this thing super freaking slow.
Yeah.
Super slow.
I've got one right here, I believe.
Yeah, man. And caught a nice 4.5 on that bait and lost about a 4. I was throwing it on a crankbait rod because I didn't have all my rods with me. I wasn't thinking about buzzbait fishing.
See, there you go. A little chartreuse and white one.
Man, that's nice. I don't know if people have ever seen the original packaging, but I got one in the original pack.
So
I don't know if you guys know about the story about the Chatterbuzz. But there it is, man. He used the word chatter.
And almost got his ass sued.
He did. It was patent pending. And it was from R&S Baits.
Yep.
And they were out of Wilson, North Carolina. That's a Chatterbuzz. My buddy, Brian Breezemeister, this guy had passed away, and his daughter had all the remaining stock. My buddy, Brian Breezemeister, brought the company back so you could still buy the old original Chatterbuzz. And he's actually improved it. He's got a pro model now, because one of my complaints on the original version was if you see the blade and then you see the hook, there's not a lot of bite room in between. So you almost have to throw the old ones with a trailer hook. But he did an extended shank version, so you get a little extra bite on it. And
I got a feeling that's what this one is. It's such a long shank on the hook.
That's it.
No, I know my dad's got a couple OGs hanging up in his garage. I saw those.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. But that's the original packaging. There was only a few left in his garage, and I'm like, I got to snap that, man. That's a piece of history right there.
I feel like because of the Whopper Plopper, a lot of people forgot about just the OG buzzbait.
And I'll tell you what, it still catches them. I did not throw a plopper. I threw this, and I had 8.5 pounds with 2 fish. I lost the other one because I was throwing it on a freaking crankbait rod. But it wasn't hateful to throw it on a crankbait rod. It allowed the fish to suck it in, but that was probably a little lazy on the hook set. You know what I mean? But I love this. I've caught so many fish on this buzzbait. I just made this one. So, but I do. Do you do anything to modify your buzzbaits?
Yeah,
I'll do a couple
let me see
things.
if I got one that needs modification. I can show you. Usually, and Matt Allen and Tim Little made a really good video about this.
Very cool.
I
those
gotta
guys.
find one because I've got a bunch of mine fixed.
All right.
God, here's a good one right here.
Let's talk about buzzbait modifications to get you a few more bites.
This one
I love
you
it.
could probably, I could do it on. I forgot who. I think this is a crocagator, man.
That's
These
it,
are
man.
freaking good buzzbaits, especially his little 1/8 ounce.
Yep. That thing makes a real tinny sound. It's like a real high pitched sound, you know?
Yep. Here's one that I could modify. All right. I'm not sure. This might be a crocagator too. But no.
It's all about that head shape.
It's not. It's man, I'm not sure what this is. It might be an old chatterbuzz. It's got a really short shank, but
that's a chatterbuzz. It looks like a chatterbuzz to me.
So there's a lot of people that make buzzbaits, and I don't know if you guys can see this on the webcam. There's a rivet here, and then there's this gap, and the blade can slide up and down. Sometimes you'll buy them, and there'll be like trailer hook got me, a half-inch gap, and you're not hooking up with fish. If you would just take some pliers and cut it back there, and then slide it where the blade's more like on the chatterbuzz, it just barely moves. You'll catch more fish for some reason. It gives it more gap between the blade and the hook. Like this one,
100%, because they're hitting the blade.
Yeah, like this one, I've caught a lot of fish on it, and it's been out, but there's not a lot of gap, and then hence why I put a trailer hook on there.
Right on.
So like that has definitely got. You can see between the blade and the hook. There's more gap.
Way more bite.
I'll show you.
I agree, man.
I need to show you
That's what I did with this one. Man. I put 2 beads in the front. You can get those brass beads anywhere you want. And there's no gap. I mean, this thing will spin immediately. Now, I don't get that little popping sound. Like if you leave a little bit of a gap and you speed the buzzbait up or you give it a twitch, that it'll clack. It's got a nice little whoop, and sometimes that'll trigger a bite. But I also do 2 things, man. I take, before I build my buzzbait, I'll take a pair of scissors and I'll make the hole in the back of the blade bigger. Right. And in the front of the blade. And I'll also take a pair of pliers and scratch up the wire where the gold blade's going to hit it. And if you really want to get stupid, I'll buy some, serious, man, I do this. I'll take a steel rivet. Not a stainless steel rivet. If you can find them, I got them down at my local hardware store. Steel rivet, and put them jokers in a saltwater solution.
So
the water will dry. Yes. So I gave one to Travis when he won. We almost won the coast. He came in 3rd. But I gave him my buzzbait, a chatterbuzz with a black and yellow skirt, black head, gold blade, flopper like that. And I had a rusted rivet. He's like, "Why are you giving me this rusted buzzbait?" I'm like, "Dude, it's about the squeal. That rust just makes it squeal even more." You can also do one final thing. On a pop rivet, the head of the pop rivet is concave. I take a pair of needle nose and flatten it out so there's more surface area rubbing on the blade and the rivet. And you got to make sure there's a good connection between the blade and the rivet. So that's just crazy. You don't have to do all that to get a bite. And then finally, I'll mash down the rivet so that it's not spinning. And, you can do one final thing. I don't know if everybody knows, but back in the day, the pros was like, tie the buzzbait to the antenna, run it out. Because, when a buzzbait gets really good, the blade's about to pop off. That's because the hole gets bigger. Right. So you're shortening the life of your buzzbait, but you're getting a squeal right out of the gate. And with that rusted rivet, you're definitely getting more squeal. So you're improving, I think, squealy buzzbaits work for me. I'm not saying you got to do all that stupid stuff, but hey, what else?
One of the best ones I found out of the package was I'm trying to answer a few questions here too, guys. Asking about deep cranking rods. I don't want to make this a deep crankbait show because I can really quick. 765 Dobbin CB will work for an 8XD. The 8 really doesn't pull that hard. So check this out. I found this over in my dad's garage. I've never seen another one. This is it's a buzzbait. The weight's down here. This is a 10
double hook.
It's got like a frog hook, but see, it's flexible.
Oh, free moving. What?
Yeah. And I asked my dad, and he said it's something we made it work.
No way, dude.
Yeah, he worked for the
government. They
gotta
bring that back. It's kind of like the Okie Bug spinnerbait, like this Okie Bug spinnerbait. Yeah. If you'll see it, it's got a hook that just moves any particular way. And the head, oh man.
But I like that frog hook back there.
They got to make some more of them, man.
Yeah, my dad, he's had a stroke and everything, and I'm sure he made this like in the early 90s. And I asked him, I said, "Well, where's the rest of them?" He said, "Well, I lost them all, but I caught a lot of fish on them." But that's I feel if somebody could modernize that with new technology,
that'd be cool, man. Patent that stuff up, man.
Yeah.
Matt Berry said he tried the antenna trick one time, lasted about 20 miles. Blade ate through and flew off.
I imagine that's happened to a lot of guys.
Dude, I fished with Wesley Strader as a co-angler on the Potomac.
Oh, Wesley.
And we were in the back of a skinny creek. And he's throwing a buzzbait, man. And they were just unloading on it, but he wasn't hooking up. He had one blasted, and it must have ate the blade because the whole thing came back without the blade. That he's, and that's what he said, man. Right when it gets good,
You got any
choking.
these?
No.
4-bladed plastic blade. Oh, listen to this thing.
But listen to that thing. Oh my! Don't even throw that anymore, dude. That's just like only bring that out when money's on the line.
Man, I don't even know who made this. Again, I've got a lot of Buzzbaits from my dad. He loved them, but this is the plastic. That squill is.
That's just ridiculous. What was that one that Reaction Innovation? The Squeaky Dolphin.
And
dude,
man, they're like.
Why can't somebody remake that?
I don't know. That was like.
What?
Those were like $50 on eBay or something insane.
Why doesn't I got 2 left? Why doesn't Andre bring that back?
I don't know. He had the method crank too, which were really good. But the problem about the method crank,
I like 1.
You buy 10 and like 2 would work.
Yeah, that's kind of like
And sometimes that happens in those homemade deals. So. Brian Pate asks, you ever use a double buzz? I do, but I don't have any on me. I just use an accent. It's got little foam pieces up there to high floats it. That's a really good one. I think that's
the most popular one, right? The accent one, double buzz.
Yeah, that and just the old Strike King, floats. Whatever the name of that is.
That's right. Yeah, but isn't it crazy? Look, we just showed like 5 miles of buzzbait. So you can go down a rabbit hole in any bait category. But day in, day out, man, I think you can't go wrong with the old tradition.
Do you have one of the old Mr. Twister Buzzbaits?
With that crazy blade?
Yeah, I got one. I've caught fish on this thing, too. I'm standing up just way up here.
All right. Oh, Cavitron. Clark, man, the Cavitron was good.
Where are you? No, you're up here somewhere. Or maybe you're not. Well, I said I had one. I've got like a bunch of stuff way up here that I can't reach. Oh, I see it now. I got it. Yeah. Hold on.
We got to see that one, man. Little Squealer Buzzbait. I don't know. What happened to the Little Squealer Buzzbait?
These things were awesome. The hook is dog poop, but...
Right.
I bought this back in the day. Before the World Wide Web, we ordered through the Bass Pro Shop catalog. Me and my dad would sit down and he'd say, "What do you want?" And we'd, check all the boxes and you'd highlight the color numbers of the ones you wanted.
Yeah.
But that's the old Mr. Twister.
That's the ones, man. That's crazy.
And it will catch fish. It comes to grass, but that hook, man, they can get a lot of leverage on that. There's just it's just connected almost to the blade, but. For fishing around grass, it was good.
Deadly, huh?
If I was to do anything to this, I would probably...
Could you cut that hook off? Yeah, and then like attach a swivel?
Yeah.
Or is there...
I would...
I mean, a split ring. Could you attach a split ring?
Yeah,
to that?
I would put a split ring, maybe a swivel, and then a frog.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. With a big old gaff hook, man.
And this box has some old relics in it. Again, we'll be on a crankbait tangent if I get too much on this. We've done the crankbaits. Do you, on your buzzbaits and stuff like that, do you put the frogs on the back, or you got a secret trailer?
I do. No, I love the frog. So my buddy Brian from Chatterbuzz. It's actually Double B Lures. It's the, oh my God, wake him up, wake him up, wake him up. He makes one, it's a pro model with thank you. He makes a pro model that has a corkscrew coming down the shank. So that's really nice. You know how some companies have that little wire keeper, but it's like a screw lock on the back of the hook. So I really like that when I'm throwing a frog. Early season though, I kind of just stick with the old skirt, man.
Yeah. I've tried.
And you can use a trailer. You can use a trailer to float it. Like what's the Zoom speed crawl? That's kind of cool because that's got a little bit of a leg action. It's a very finesse trailer, so you can even take the skirt off like that's a trick I like to do in post spawn. I like to downsize my buzzbait in post spawn, take the trailer off. But my money's on a big bladed buzzbait when the water's in the low 50, starting at about 50. And frankly, I don't know about you, but I want that temperature rising. I don't want the temperature falling. If the temperature's falling day after day, I'm not throwing the buzzbait when the water's in the 50s. But if the temperature's rising day to day and the fish are coming, I'm throwing the buzzbait. You're not going to get a ton of bites, but the bites you get on a big, you could throw 3/8, half ounce, or even the quarter if you want to really slow it down with the half ounce blade. That's the other thing. You can have a bigger blade, smaller blade. You can have a half ounce buzzbait with a 3/8 ounce blade, or even a quarter ounce blade, and really burn that thing to in the summer when the water gets super warm. So, yeah, spicy beaver would be a good one. You're right.
It's pretty good.
Be a good trailer.
Yep. Taking one of these. Now this is the wrong color head, but we can fix that up.
That's right. Easy enough.
Oh, I got a buddy. This is how he fishes buzzbait. He puts a big Menace grub on there. This is the Magnum Rage Menace.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he can use white, whatever, but
sure,
they make a ton of colors. But that guy right there on the back of a buzzbait is pretty deadly.
That's deadly right there.
Now
I like it because the legs are really close together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's not going to impede the bite.
Yep. And it's not just giant. It's he uses that glacier color a lot on a white one. But if you want a black buzzbait, obviously I'd have a black blade or whatnot. And that's that new crawdad color. It's got a little bit of orange in it.
That's nice looking,
pretty
man.
Good dirty water color.
What's that buzzbait? Is that a lunker lure with a clacker?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Lunker lure. There's the patent number on there somewhere.
Yes, sir. Yep.
These
right
old
there,
lunker
man.
lures were good ones, man.
Man, they were great. I had a crawdad colored lunker lure that I went to work on at just a local pond, man, and I don't know what it was. The skirt color, the head was like bronze or copper, like a dark copper brown, and the skirt was brown and orange, and the blade was like copper. I don't know what it was about that color. Bluegill? Yeah. I don't know,
There's some
man.
guys that really like those chartreuse blades on a buzzbait.
Yeah, dude.
I think Cavitron makes some, and Terminator did. Cause I think one of those companies, they had the edges of the blade were almost like saw teeth, but you could get that almost bright chartreuse.
Terminator was.
They had like a chartreuse dyed blade.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the metallic chartreuse dyed, right? And then you got the painted blades. But, hey, man, if the fish are shallow and it's warm, and the water's dirty, you could throw a funky-looking chartreuse head, chartreuse skirt, chartreuse blade, and those big fish will come up and crack it. Strike King makes one right now. You can buy it at Dick's. I don't love the hook. I'll tell you, I was out with Pete Gluzik, and we were on the Upper Bay in Baxter. We're fishing a grass bed, and he starts talking about this buzzbait after I missed 2 fish. I'm throwing one from Japan. It's called the 01. And the way they had it designed, I got to go get one if I can't find it sitting here in my deal. But anyway, there was the blade had a huge hole in it and had like a big almost screw head on the back that was smooth with no threads, and it would get on there and just squeal crazy. But I was throwing it in a fire tiger in clear water, and I missed like 3 fish. And Pete goes, I used to throw an old Strike King buzzbait. And it had just wasn't even a bright blade. It was like a dull anodized silver blade, chartreuse head, and fire tiger skirt. And he said he didn't know what it was about that color combination in clear water that just drove bass nutty. You wouldn't think about throwing a fire tiger buzzbait, right? With a silver blade in clear water. I tell you, I went to Dick's and I hacked some blades off of old Strike Kings, and then I got their triple wing head. Remember the triple wing? Because the head was exactly what he was talking about, and I made a couple, and I sent him a picture, and he goes, "You remade the buzzbait," and I go, "We're going to throw it." So, pretty crazy, man. It's nuts. It's nuts. I don't know if it's the novelty of the color. Maybe they're onto the perch. Who knows? Just drew big bites, man, and squealed like crazy with a rusted rivet. Immediately. Yeah. Like it was 10,000 cast in.
I'd say the one I always liked the best was the War Eagle. And cool stories, Like the second time I ever took my wife out fishing, like actually it was like our second date. It was just like the conditions now. It warmed up really quick, and I lived on Barkley Lake then, and took her, put the boat in, and I flipped up probably about 15 to 16 pounds really quick, and I said, I think we'll put a buzzbait on. And the water was 58 degrees, and I ended up catching like 4. And she says, "Oh, I can do that." Okay. Well, I handed her the rod, show her how to cast, and like 2 casts, she's got down. And like 5 minutes later, I hear woof, and she goes, "I think I got one." And I go, "Yeah, you do." And she's reeling it, and it jumps, and it's like, so that's a great big one, and it was about 6 pounds.
Dang, man!
So I was like,
crazy.
"Man, you might be a keeper."
There you go. Hey, man, so somebody's asking about the new Strike King Hybrid Hunter.
Yeah. What do you know?
It's about to get kooky. I don't know nothing about that bait, and I'm embarrassed. Let me tell you why. I pride myself on, like, being a bait hound, right? Uh-huh. I pride myself on being a shallow water grass fisherman. You know, I found things like the Imikatsu waddle bats, right? Uh-huh. You know, tricking out my -1s, right? You know, doctoring up the mid -1, just doing stuff that people weren't doing, right? Uh-huh. And then all of a sudden somebody like busts me a question about the OG Strike Pro one, the Bubba, and I'm like, what is that? And, you know, somebody's asked me, what do you think about an L-shaped lip crankbait? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, the old shallow shad wrap, sure, I've thrown it, but it wasn't in my staple. And then all of a sudden I hear Strike King's coming out with this remake of the Strike Pro, but 6 Cents got one, right?
So 6 Cents has had this.
Hey, man, I'm turning to you. What is going on?
Right. So I'm not trying to start any controversy or anything, and I have friends at Strike King that I talk to all the time. And basically, Strike King, they bought the Strike Pro Bubba. They didn't make their own. They bought the mold. And that's okay. I can respect that if it's a company that's kind of gone out of business and not a lot's really going on. It's probably more cost efficient to just say, hey, we'll just buy your company, buy your stuff, and be done with it. And Strike King obviously has got a better name than Strike Pro or whatnot.
Sure.
And but you know, the 6 Cent Swank's been out for 3-4 years now with that L bill, and that's really kind of a Texas deal. The guys on Rayburn, Toledo Bend, stuff like that, they've always liked that L bill, and it was kind of inspired by the Bubba bait, but guys couldn't get them. And so when Casey started 6 Cents, he had the Swank made. And, you know, so here's my thing. I don't know how much Todd Castledine designed on the Strike King one, but it's basically the same as the Strike Pro. And if that's his confidence bait, that's awesome. I do have an issue sometimes with pros saying they designed something and they didn't really design anything, but I think this isn't that case. It's just that, you know, Todd's a Strike King guy. He got the right bait in his hands, and you know, obviously he's going to promote that. I don't think there's any hard feelings between 6 Cents and Strike King over that bait. I've talked to both sides, and you know, unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes in the industry. I'm going to tell you, you know, right now, if, you know, there was a soft plastic. Okay, my favorite worm is the Lucky Strike ringworm, and, you know, it's hard to get Lucky Strike soft plastics, man. But if, you know, NetBait says we're just going to buy you out and we'll start producing it, I'd be excited because I know I can get that worm all the time now, you know.
That's right. So, that's right.
Like I said, there's a lot of chatter that's going on or whatnot, but the end of the deal is, you know, I think Todd pushed the idea of that bait over to Strike King and said, hey, man, you know, 6 Cents is killing it. They're the only people that's got an L bill. It kind of developed from this right here. You got an opportunity here to get a bait where there's only one person in competition with, because a new square bill ain't going to do anything because everybody's got a square bill, you know. But L bills, you got 6 Cents, and that's it.
Talk to me about the 6 Cents lure, man. Have you thrown it?
Yeah, it's
the swank. Yeah,
it's really loud. It has it instead of like doing a roll thing, it kind of just goes like this. But it's really, really loud.
like a one knocker kind of bait.
Yeah.
Because that I guess the Strike Pro had a one knocker too,
Yeah.
right? The Bubba.
Now the one from 6 Cents has just like 4 or 5 big loud rattles. It's super loud. I had one, and then I gave it away because it was in one of those 6 Cents bundles, the Super 6 sack. So I gave that away, but I threw it a little bit. It's super loud. If I had grass, I would fish that a lot. But I want. Speaking of loud, I'll tell you something. I threw this bait yesterday. This is a strike. This is the Strike King 2.5 wake, and I was with Menendez yesterday, and he's throwing it. This thing is super loud. Like I was really impressed when it's coming across the top. And it's loud. And we had one fish blow up on it 3 times. It had to be spawning, but that bait is, the wake bait deal. This is a great time for them to find those bedding fish. But I got this one for the fall, and that's a Ghost Pro or whatever you want to call it, like that Mega Bass Pro Blue. But he had a chartreuse one that was it was good. But you can burn this, and it just run like 10 inches under the surface, and so it's running, and it's what it sounds like right there. I like the sound of that. It's got the right pitch. You hear a lot of knocking baits, and they're just kind of it doesn't sound right. That one is I like it quite a bit.
It's got the right pitch. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So was it kind of glassed off when you guys were throwing that wake bait?
No, it was actually a little bit too windy. There's a lot of ripple on it, but so he caught fish yesterday, basically the old cantaloupe. And
did you make him give you one?
No, he won't do it. I've known this guy for 30 years. He won't give me a cantaloupe spinnerbait.
Who makes the cantaloupe spinnerbait, man?
I can't say publicly. It's a modified Strike King spinnerbait. I'll just put it that way.
Okay. All right. There you go.
If anyone wants the real deals, they can DM me on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. That's good. I like that, man.
All right, let's see. We got a question here. Someone said something about Andrew Upshaw or whatnot. Him and Castledine are roommates. Let's see.
Oh, are they?
Andrew don't talk to me anymore. He thinks I hate him for some reason. Like we've talked about this before, there's a disconnect between YouTube and pro fishing guys. So pro fishing guys don't like the YouTubers. I like the pro fishing guys, but they anyway. Let's see. Somebody asked a good question and I missed it here. Okay,
let's go.
Chuck Capel has asked this question a couple times. He just bought him some Omega Raptures, which is a bladed jig, and I've got one right here. He wants to know if you've used one or have any thoughts about it. I'll show you one if you don't have one.
No, man, I don't.
This is a pretty sneaky color too.
Let's see it. Come on.
I've used one. It's different, not a jackhammer. And this is usually not, so a lot of guys, to get around that patent, they use like split ring to split ring. Well, they just want a straight swivel. So it eliminates some line twists, but it's not going to swim in that nice, tight, straight line like a jackhammer would or one of the Picassos. Yeah. It's got like a big swinging action. And in clear water, I'm probably not going to go with that a whole lot. But in that dirty water where I want fish to find it, that's I like that trick.
Right. And this is really wild to me. So look at the blade. It won't go down.
Right.
That's it. So it obviously will rotate side to side, go all the way back, but this won't. So I imagine, and the blade is exactly straight. So it doesn't come with the typical bend in the blade that a normal chatterbait would. And I mean, there is no flex in that. It's got a nice little keeper on the bottom. The jackhammer has 2 keepers instead of 1.
Right.
And it's a super fine cut silicone skirt. I mean, I like it so far. And it's wild with that snub nose. I'll be curious to see how that comes through cover. Because, chatterbait is like horrible for coming through cover. Unless you throw that, what's that funky little bait from Japan? that comes through cover like crazy? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Here's one for y'all. And it's got a crazy blade on it. It's a Nori's Hula Chat.
Yeah, I just saw that on some dude's IG feed, and I said, ooh, I might want to get one of those.
All right, so here's the deal with this bait. I would not waste my time throwing it anywhere other than wood, cover, like not even grass. I want my regular chatterbaits, I want my imikatsus, I want my jackhammers in grass. I don't want this in grass because it is the truest tracking chatterbait I've ever seen. Yeah. But when I threw this through wood, it like tips over the branch. Mm-hmm. Like it'll hit it and then pop over. You could probably find some YouTube videos on this coming through cover. It's pretty ridiculous. Nori's Hula Chat. There ain't a bunch of them out there, but it's got like a pretty small blade, and it comes with like 2 shrimp-scented trailers, which is kind of cool. So, cover cranking. And hey, man, I mean, let's talk about it, Baxter. There are better crankbaits for cover cranking. There are better, crankbaits for cranking grass, in rock and wood. So this is the cover cranking chatterbait.
I'm going to tell you.
And I'll tell you, not a lot of people throw chatterbaits in wood because they get hung up too much.
I threw this thunder cricket yesterday, and I actually, be honest with you,
what do you think? Does it come
I
through
caught
wood?
a shit pile of fish on this, but I caught a shit pile of wood, too. I got hung up like every other cast.
I hate that, man. Dude, I was in a tournament one time, and I was throwing. It's the first time I used 20-pound gamma, and we're on a load of fish on a wooded bank, and I'm fishing with a fisherman who's a stud on the upper bay, and dude, I got hung up, and I'm like, we are not going in there. I'll leave this chatterbait. I could not break the 20-pound gamma. I had that thing tied to the boat cleat, and I'm like, fire up the boat and pull it off. It almost pulled my rod tip into the cleat because I didn't have it like all the way. It was just a mess, man. But I hate chatterbaits in wood for that reason. But that little can come through pretty good.
If Strike King or anybody wants to make the ultimate jackhammer, I mean, this green pumpkin jackhammer, green pumpkin Zacco, that'll catch him any lake of the country, anywhere. This one I've got is
100%
beat up. You want to make this bait even better? Make it weed.
Talk to me.
Make it weedless. So
right.
It is great that you don't have nothing after the blade here, but you need something right there, maybe in the back, just 2 little metal prongs to stop me from getting hung in wood.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of difference between the thunder cricket and the jackhammer. The main deal is the blade.
Yep.
And the hook. One's an owner flipping hook, and one's a gamakatsu flipping hook. And then on the thunder cricket, if y'all see that how
it moves.
The thing
so
moves, and I think that's why I was getting hung up so much. I don't know, but they're both over $10. And if I'm fishing less than 5 foot of water and I get hung up, I'm going in and getting one. Or
exactly.
I'll knock a rod tip. Do the rod tip trip. I bust a lot of eyelets doing that, but
exactly, man, exactly.
But, everybody's been on this. They've been doing this with if they can't get one of those fire crawls, they've been putting the old red skirt on there.
Sure.
So I made fun of Mark. He's like, oh, yeah, I got modified my thunder cricket up. And, of course, I said, what'd you do? Make a red skirt? And he did. And then he put on a trailer, and he put on a white Strike King swimming shiner. I said, why would you put a white trailer on the back of a red? You might as well just use a white skirt. And he just said, it doesn't matter. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to argue with you. You've qualified for a couple Bassmaster Classics. And I'll be damned, he smoked them with that just white trailer on the back of that thing.
Isn't that funny, man? What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, we're always picky, trying to match stuff and all that. And he said they're going after the vibration in that jig, and they see that skirt flash. They're not too worried about the trailer.
In that, I've seen a guy throw, I had a co-angler in the national or semi-national finals, Bass Nation, and he threw a chatterbait without a skirt and caught him just fine.
Yeah.
It was one of those that had, a little extra skirt material coming back off the back like the Strike King ones. But yeah, does it matter? Do they need it?
This dude that...
Who knows?
It's a good friend of mine. He used to coach basketball, high school, legendary coach here in Kentucky. He throws a jackhammer. He takes his skirt off. It doesn't matter what kind of chatterbait is, and he puts a daggum just a Lake Fort Magic shad on it, and he just crushes them with swim baits on there. You know, or a Zacco. That's what he does. He just takes a skirt off and he just makes it like a swimming bait fish.
Yeah, you know, do people kind of understand why the Zacco was built that way? It's not for action because there isn't a lot of wide thumping action on it.
It's
a lot of the guys used to throw the fluke, right? This was made so that when the fish eats it, the trailer collapses easy.
Yes.
A lot of people think it's about that. There's very little action to that, believe it or not. I mean, only imparted by the bait.
Hey, St. Crest, he's asking a question. He said, Eric, what rod, reel, and line setup are you throwing a mutt-style bait on?
So everybody knows I love the old G. Loomis, you know, bronze series cranking. It was a blended blank of graphite and fiberglass, super soft tip. I think it was the 852. They had an 852, 853, 854C cranking. But so I'm kind of left with the ones that I have left. But if I was to buy a new one, you tell me about this. They're making the reel and feel. Who makes that?
Kistler.
It's thank you, reel and feel. It's the same concept, right? With the fiberglass tip. It's composite blank, so graphite fiberglass bend.
Yeah.
I just ordered a couple, and they just came in. So I'm gonna try it out. I've got one for a chatterbait and one for a cranking.
And you got a Shimano reel on that, don't you?
Oh, 100%, man. You know I throw the Shimano Curado guy from way back when. But there's a lot of guys out there that have been talking about this one. You tell me. I don't know. I threw it last year down at Hartwell for the first time, but the Tatula SV.
That's the deal, man. It's my jam.
That's the deal. This is Baitman approved, everybody. I haven't ordered new reels in a while. I'm just nursing the ones I bought way back when, so I treated myself to a new reel.
Now,
and I did put one on for light cranking my flat sides, and it threw like a freaking dream.
Yeah.
So St. Crest, I got to be honest, man. I used to be a Daiwa man way back in the day, Daiwa and Shimano, and it was kind of a battle for my heart, and Shimano won.
Hey.
But I can tell you this, that joker right there. Dude, man, you go way back in the way back.
That's the best
machine.
one they ever made. Somebody proved me wrong.
Yeah, man. I mean, right? Right?
I mean, there ain't a whole lot to these reels. You know, I love the SV Tatula. Obviously, but you just got, they said, well, you can adjust this, or you can do this. Man, on these things right here, you just lift it and turn it.
Yep.
And it ain't complicated. And me, all those little pins, I push in, I take the brakes away. And you want to talk about firing out a shower blow. Man, this sucker
just
do it. To cast it forever.
Dang, man. So somebody keeps asking Bill Gibson.
Sure.
All right, Bill. Okay, wait a minute. Tatula SV. Hold on, guys. Tatula SV. And Baxter, you might be able to tell them more about this.
Sure.
This is the SVTW.
Right.
What's the rest of the numbers on there?
103 XS.
XS.
So I believe
L.
103 is the width of the millimeter of the spool. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Right. So, and they have different speeds. You know, I got some fast reels. I got some slow reels. I got some fast reels for burning. 7 to 1, 8 to 1. But normally I'm cranking on a 6.2 to 1.
So
6.2.
they just come back out. They just made a new version of that reel. It's even lighter.
Did they?
Yeah, it's even lighter.
Oh, great.
A little bit smaller.
All right.
That's right. That's one of my. I just sold all my Daiwa stuff because I needed some cash, and they're going to send me a bunch more reels. And then the whole.
Oh, that's cool.
Our national. See, if I say that word, YouTube deletes my video. And
don't say
when
it.
I streamed the other night, because I said that word, I went back and they disabled my monetization. So
what?
There's a lot of companies not shipping now because of that. So I'll get my
For
reels
real?
eventually. Yeah. But
all right, so this is somebody asked about what's the difference between the Megabass Flap Slap and the 1x1. So look, Travis just threw the 1x1. This is the bait that I threw with him up in New York. I wrecked the smallmouth day one on this. Day one, they were chewing this bait. It was ridiculous. I mean, you could look. That was a red Gamakatsu hook, which is now gold. That's how bad they were eating it, man. Anyway, The 1x1 is a completely different bait. It is mini compared to this bait. I mean, it's like 50% of the size from a flap slap. But the 1x1, it's kind of a hybrid crank jerk bait. So you can reel it like a jerk bait. It's kind of like the U.S. Shad from Lucky Craft. I don't remember if you remember that bait. So like the Bevy Shad, the U.S. Shad, though, and if you got them in SP, that's suspending. But you could crank them just like a crankbait, but you could also work them like a jerk bait. I mean, this is an odd shape for a jerk bait, right? You know, it's got it's like a high back shiner, like that old Stacy King jerk bait, but it's short and compact. I mean, that's a bite-sized snack meal, but it does really interesting things. It's got secondary action. This bait doesn't suspend. I think the 1x1 is made as a suspending bait. You'll have to read about it for Bill that asked the question. But anyway, this one has a secondary action if you don't weight it. You know, when you're jerking it, you can reel it like a crankbait, or you can jerk it like a jerk bait, but this will slowly rise. So it's that secondary action. It doesn't pause. It slowly rises. And I think that triggers bites.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a fleeing kind of secondary action. Anyway, that's the flap slap.
I like that baby shit.
Yeah, right?
Now, I just reel it, but like Matt Allen and them, they work it like a jerk bait.
It's crazy, man. I mean, I was down practicing on Hartwell, and I had a throat-weighted shad wrap, you know, with like 6 suspend dots on. I think it was like a 6 or I think it was like a 7. That'd have been a 7. And I just started jerking it like a jerk bait. You couldn't overpower it because the thing would roll. But, man, I got a lot of bites doing that. It was pretty cool, man. Yeah, hey, Bill, the flap slap is a hybrid as well. No question about it. The flap slap wasn't built necessarily as a jerk bait. So you could reel it like a crankbait, or you could jerk it like a jerk bait. But you can't overpower it. You know, you really got to pay attention to your bait and what it's doing. That flap slap, if you're really yanking on it, it's going to blow out. So just pay attention to each bait's different, right?
I just shut my door. I've got this big light in here, and every bug out decides it was trying to get in here.
Come in.
Yeah, I've got to find some different lights. I got this big ass redneck shop light. I need to get some of those nice ring lights like the pro tubers use, because this thing gets hot, man. I'll be sitting here sweating, but
dang,
I think you made a good point about jerk baits. This is what I tell people, guys. They're all made different, and some are made for ripping, some are made for pulling, and then some are made for twitching. A Vision 110.
That's a great way to say it.
Vision 110, I feel like it's a really good twitching jerkbait. It ain't worth the shit if you pull it. It doesn't blow out. I can work it kind of fast. But if I want to work a really fast, I'm going to say it, OSP jerkbait, the floater. You got one of those?
The old OSP one?
You got an OSP floater? Man. Yeah.
Hold on, man. I think it's over here. You have to give me a second because I'm going to have to dig a little bit. You talking about the Orbit?
No.
No?
No. If that's the floating version of whatever they make.
They made a 110 suspend.
Yeah. It may be. I know Takoshi, that's the guy with OSP.
Yeah. I got to dig for that one, man. I might have it in my... Hold on. Let me get out my jerkbait box. I was going over to my wall. I went to the wrong spot. Let me see.
I think it's called the zip bait. The OSP is a really good twitch, pause, twitch. And a rogue, the old floating rogue is really good if you're just going to jerk, quick pause.
Oh, yeah. I might have one in here. Hold on.
Hey, man, your wall looks bare. We need donations. Yeah, when Eric's on the screen, my wall does look bare. I'm going to come over to his house. I'm driving over there sometime.
You got to come, man. Let me see. Is this the one you were talking about? Is that it?
Yeah, buddy. That's a really good fast ripping bait.
Right there, man.
And then the other one they make is like the Gankura or something like that.
Yeah. This one?
Some of them have like matte finishes to them.
Hold on. No, that ain't it.
That's the suspending one.
That's a suspending one. You're right.
Dude, OSP makes some really, really good stuff.
Osprey Spiritual Performer.
Whoa.
Dude, man. It's crazy, right?
That's some Rick Clunn kind of stuff right there. Makes you think they're sitting Indian style behind a boat dock. So that is a true story about Rick Clunn, Kentucky Lake Tournament. I think it was 1993. I was Baitman Junior's age, first grade.
No way.
My dad is picking me up every day from school, getting me out early. It was raining so bad. At the end of the first day, there at Kentucky Dan Marino, I almost said Kentucky Dan Marino, Kentucky Dan Marina. They're weighing in or whatnot, and there's this dude sitting Indian style, just like hum.
Oh yeah,
right there. There's a little building that's a maintenance building, just hum, no water sitting him. And my dad said, "It's Rick Clunn," and I said, "What's he doing? Smoking pot?" And my dad, and he just like opened his eyes and just kept concentrating. My dad's like, "How do you know about that? You're only like 8, you know." I said, "I watched it in the movies, Dad, you know." And he's just meditating. Hysterical. It's all he's doing. And he had like 20-something pounds on a jerkbait, and he's just sitting under there meditating like an Indian. But evidently, from what I was told, man, Rick Clunn meditates, you know, quite a bit. No, I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm just saying it was one of his deals. He would always try to clear his head, mentally get in the right place.
Isn't that awesome, man? I mean, oh my gosh, dude, that is hysterical. What was up? So if you had to pick like the best twitching bait, floating, not suspending, like post spawn. I had a buddy of mine, man. He used to throw that old storm bait around the Potomac shallow grass and post spawn, because there's nobody that I know on my rivers throwing jerkbaits.
Really?
Nobody. Dude, very rarely. I very rarely see everybody's like all eat up with the, you know, the jackhammers and grass, and I just don't see them come out, man, because, you know, it's a pain in the ass with the trebles, but it's just an underutilized bait, man. Me and Chaconis went in the fall. We're in one of the small little creeks on the Potomac, as he sells his boat every year, and then I take him out on my skeeter, and he takes out a floating jerkbait around shallow wood and goes to work on the fish.
Floating minnow is really, really good,
dude. There you go.
It's as basic as.
Is that the one that started it all?
It's as basic gets, but a Rapala floating minnow, just it crushes them. That and the Smithwick floating rogue, those two are freaking dynamite. Now speaking of wake baits, Buckeye Lures Wake Up. You got any of those?
Talk to me, man. Nope.
I sold my last one because the prices got really high. And I just be honest, sometimes I like to make money.
What?
But Phil Hunt makes a style, but it has a jerkbait like body, and it's got, you know, a micarta lip.
Whoa! You talking about this one?
Yeah, that guy right there. That is a freaking killer bait right now. Finding those fish on a bed you can't see, they hate that.
What did it go for? What did it go for?
The one I sold was like $70. Hey,
you mean I get $70 for this?
I need my laptop charger.
Dang, man.
How
about that? Yeah, that's the old Buckeye Lures right there, man. That's the one that Ott threw a little bit on those schooling fish.
Yeah, it's hooked up.
And he put that VMC, little, you know,
do you like those blades on the trebles?
Yeah, well, you know what? Ott had one on the back, and he missed some fish because of that. So I was thinking, should I put it in the middle? But I said, you know, I'll put it on the front. Why not? Make him get a headshot.
Right. So I'm glad you said that.
I don't know.
So if there was a modification I'm going to do right here to this wake bait,
what are you going to do?
Let's just say this was solids. I'll take me if this marker even works. It's been in here a while. And right above the hook, I'm going to draw me.
He's just getting after it live.
Just draw me a kill spot on this guy.
Good. Big old kill spot.
So this is old school. If you're having fish come up, especially on a shallow crankbait or even a wake bait, and they're not really getting it, and a jerkbait, put that kill spot above the hook. I know that's silly, but it gives them, shit, I'm hooked. But if you see this bait, now, when I move it around, you know what your eye focuses on?
Right there on that kill shot.
And that's how the bass are.
So
That's nice, man. I did a little something similar on the. So me and Travis had a crankbait paint off live the other night, and so he painted it was a Frankenstein custom lures.
Yeah, dude, I watched part of that after y'all got done. I got
did?
off work and I watched about 45 minutes of that, and I fell asleep on my couch.
So this is what mine ended up being, man. I'll show you. So I put the Crush logo on one side, this little and then the Travis's head on the other. Travis Manson.
Oh, that's funny.
I put a little red kill dot on the tail.
You know, some guys put a dot on the back. I've seen guys do that. I've just always, and I don't always do it because I get out there fishing, but you know, you go through a guy that's real cerebral like Mark. He had a couple fish miss that wake bait, and he just stops. And you know, I'm running the camera, we're filming a TV show, and he goes, "You know what I'm fixing to do, right?" And he runs, gets a Sharpie, kills, spots it, next cast, fish has it.
Come on, man, for real. That's so crazy. I've had guys tell me that they put, you know, and I've done it too, pump up the volume on the shad wrap. You know how it's like on that natural live river shad, it's very faded. Man, just make it black.
Yeah.
You know, just make it black. Because that's a great bait, you know, very, very early spring if you're waiting it to pull. Yes. You know, pull and stop, pull and stop. And it just gives them that boom. It gives them that focus area.
You need to muscle up, Baitman Junior. So you can open this and drink some Mountain Dew here about 10 o'clock at night. That'd be good for you. Parent of the year over here.
Well, we canceled church.
Oh, they canceled church. They canceled a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know
what? I was talking about that, Brian. B. Superman, killer wake bait, single worm rattle. That's what those old bait makers used to do, man. That's old school Carolina stuff right there, ain't it? The worm ticker in it. You know, some guys used to use that 22 caliber shell casing and put a steel ball bearing in it. You talk about a loud ticker there. Dang. Like loud.
Here's a good bait. This dude, William Law, says ever used the Rebel spoonbill. You know, that's kind of like this.
Deep diving.
That's kind of like before the Lucky Craft Stacy. That's what guys use for a deep diving jerk.
They sure did, man. Ain't no doubt about that, man. Crazy. Man's one OG. You got that right. And there's like every category of bait has its all-stars, right? That'd be a great thing, Baitman. Like the all-star baits in every category.
All right. So,
and especially out of production ones that have either been brought back or, you know, what's the replacement for it if you can't find it. So that would be like fascinating.
So you know how I tell you I talk to myself while I'm driving to work and stuff about videos. This dude on this kayak forum's like, what's the 10 most influential baits? He didn't say ever, but in these categories, and I disagreed with everything, you know, he put.
That's funny.
But except for like one thing, he's like, my most influential swim bait was like something brand new, but
right.
I've been thinking about doing that, but I don't want to offend anybody if I put it in there because
very true.
You know, I forgot what it was. One of his baits was like a Guggen bait, and I'm like, no.
Can't
yeah, it's like a Bandito bug, and I said, really? Because that's, you know, a Bandito bug's really a play off of Sweet Beaver modified down. He had no clue what I'm talking about, but
that's so crazy.
I think that's a good idea. You know what we need to do? And I guess we have to do this on Instagram. We're going to do a playoff, like a bracket. There's no Sweet 16, so we need a Sweet 16 bait bracket.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. And the Baitman Sweet 16.
Yeah, Sweet 16, and we'll come up with this a list, and we'll start it this week. And then we'll post it up in the morning, and we'll say, you know, comment.
Vote.
You know, which one we're going to have seeds. We're going to have, you know, 4 number 1 seeds.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I think I like to get in a Photoshop, but
dang, man, that'd be huge right there. How about this little joker? Because you're a Strike King guy.
Oh yeah.
So I took that baby king shad, and it was a diving one. You seen the prices on the wake ones lately on eBay going up all of a sudden?
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy. So I took a lighter and just heated up the lip. And then bent it down with a pair of needle nose. I made my diving one awake. Now, who knows how it's going to run? But I might just have to bend it back a little bit. But I think that's going to do the job.
That's my favorite color they ever made in that king shad.
Yeah, man.
I got one.
What was that? You do?
I do.
You got the big one or the little one? Because didn't they have 2 sizes? Yeah, they had 2 sizes.
Careful.
King shad,
Yeah, I
baby
think I
king
got it in
shad.
this box. Let's see what we got here. Huh. No, I don't, but I got something that's, I may get in a lot of trouble if I show this, but I will. I'm not going to say who makes it, but it's a prototype and it'll be out soon. So that's all you're getting to see of that guy. That's going to solve a lot of those guys spending $50 on a wake shad.
There you go,
But,
man. Nice one, man.
I've got a chartreuse shad, king shad somewhere. Oh, it's right above me.
Nice.
Right there.
And before I really bought a bull shad, I threw this thing all the time. Dude, this thing's been to war.
Oh,
Look at
that
all
has
the
been the
freaking
war,
marks
dude.
on
Look
this
at that,
guy.
man. Dude, that thing has been ate up.
I'll tell you what I caught really good on this
about.
one day. In the fall,
Yeah.
I got into some giant smallmouth on a stump flat.
What?
This is
And they were
For real.
right. And they would just freaking clobber this thing. The problem is the hookup ratio for some reason on this bait was always so-so. But those smallmouth would just crush it. And that's really most of the wear and tear on this bait come from that one afternoon.
Dang, that's crazy.
But they had all these. So this is how we fish in the fall here. We fish these big main lake flats, and we find these ditches in these flats. And a lot of times where those ditches would come in, there'd be maybe stake beds. We're talking 2-3 foot of water, or where the ditch comes to meet the main channel. And these smallmouth had all these gizzards pinned in this little ditch. And I found them because I'm driving by and I'm fishing another ditch nearby, and I start seeing these fish blow up. And, you know, I'll fire a spook out there, and they'd hit it, but they wouldn't really eat it. And I had this tied on because, you know, that was really the only swim bait I had at the time. And I fired that sucker out there, and these things cast like shit, by the way, pardon my French.
Yeah, right.
And I'm burning it, and I'm almost to the boat, and it's just, poof, I'm like, God. Maybe it's a stripe, you know, it hit so hard, and it's about a 4-pound smallmouth. And, dude, for 30-40 minutes, it was every cast on that thing, but you had to burn it. And those fish liked it being burned.
Isn't that funny, man? It's so crazy, right? That just brings up one of the main things in bass fishing, man. It's depth and speed. Depth and speed. If you ain't saying those things over and over in your head, you know, I've been cranking before where people are just steady winding, and I'm worming during a cold front. Temperature fell. I've got a flat A. The guy's throwing a Lucky Craft 1.5, and he got 0 bites. And I was just jacking on a candy apple red flat A in the mouths of marinas on riprap. Big pre-spawn females. That was the only way they would eat it. You had to reel it down till you hit a rock, and then pull and stop. Pull and stop and reel up the slack.
I would say retrieve speed and cadence has more to do with getting a bite sometimes than the style of bait or who makes it.
I agree. Depth and speed, man, and cadence, right? Like that jerk pause. Right. You know, did you hear Cherry on Bass University getting interviewed, talking about his Mega Bass +1, and he would like compare 5 of the Mega Bass +1s, and he wanted the one that didn't run straight back to the boat when he reeled it in. He wanted the one that blew out. He said he'd rather have a jerkbait that he didn't know where it was going to go. And I guess that he's referring to a bait that had a slight manufacturing difference or a little bit off center that would just blow and be super erratic. Funky, man.
Yeah.
Funky, all the little things, man.
I think a lot of it is the fact that a live bait fish, you can't predict which way it's going to swim. You ever threw a crappie minnow back and thought it was dead and it just takes off, and then all of a sudden it just goes one way out of the blue?
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know, back when I worked at the Moores Resort and got to clean the minnow tank, there'd be some that were kind of floating. I think they were dead, and I'd throw them. They just take off, and all of a sudden it's like they kick one way and they spiral out, and then all of a sudden we had a couple pet bass we fed. It was pretty fun.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. But they got the regular, because they know that's a dying bait, right? I mean, it's crazy.
Right, so you hear some guys talk about jerkbaits, and they say, I don't want a jerkbait that rises. Well, I think about that. I get that because a jerkbait, you're trying to imitate a fling or dying minnow. When they die, they don't. I mean, they float up side down when they're just dead. But if they're dying, they kind of twitch, and then all of a sudden, then they glide, spiral downwards.
Yeah,
usually head down too.
Yep.
So
crazy, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
What
good stuff?
You got any new baits lately? There's a lot of new stuff coming out. I just haven't had time. I got some PayPal money. I got some YouTube money coming next month from all my
That's good, man. Like
fans
new
here, but there's some new stuff I've got to get. You got any of the new missile quiver baits?
I didn't. I haven't ordered a pack of them yet. My tournament season got shut down, so I just kind of I kind of stopped. But I did get some new stuff from Japan.
Yeah, let's see that JDM gloriousness.
We'll break it out. So all right. So we all know about the Buckeye Lures wake bait that Baxter just sold for $70 on eBay.
Now that was last year too.
All right. Well, after I just smoked everybody in part on that, I think maybe it should go up to 80. So I was looking for a replacement for that and something that's going to like, so this Mega Bass Dough Rum. What you know about it, man?
A micarta bill on that thing?
That's a micarta bill on it. And the bait ain't straight.
That looks
it's
like
bent.
That looks like something my wife sees quite a bit.
So I don't know, man. I've watched videos on it. It's reasonably priced. It won't be anymore, I guess, after this goes up. But I think it's going to work for me, man.
There's no doubt that'll work.
Yeah, man. And it's a handmade bait. I don't know if it's wood. There are some that I think were wood that were handmade, but sometimes they use that funky material. I don't know what it would be, but it's not plastic. So anyway, the Mega Bass Dough Rum. That got me interested.
You got one there. Do you throw frogs quite a bit?
Yeah, I do.
Have you got one of the big gabbets? They're frogs.
I don't have one of the big ones. No.
I saw them at the Classic. I thought they'd be bigger than they were. They're pretty decent size. It's a good.
But it's not like a huge.
No,
frog?
It's not like the what was it? The Spro made the King Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that King Daddy. You're not gonna get.
Throw that King
you won't
Daddy.
get 10 bites in a day, but you'll get one, and it'll be great big.
No, man, I throw some BBs in it, man, but I might be getting some steel ball bearings.
Check this guy out. I found these again. My dad hoards all kinds of stuff. This is old school. That's a Bass Pro Frog.
Dude, the laser eye one, man, that's huge.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been out of the package. This is the first we're taking one out of the package.
I think I got a PH custom wake bait. Somebody asked about that. You talking about the crankbait?
Look at this guy. He's got a real short tail on it.
Which is exactly what you want.
Man, that thing is probably been in the package so long it's super soft.
Can I hold it?
Well, that's great. That's what you want.
Bait Junior's going to show off the frog.
Nice, Bait Junior. I like that skirt. It's the old flatline rubber.
Uh-huh. But yeah, on these big frogs, guys get excited. They'll get bites. But it's kind of like a big swim bait in the frog world. You're only looking for one bite or two.
One bite. Hey, man, I can testify. When I throw that King Daddy out there on the Potomac, I get half the number of bites, but generally, if they bite it and they get it, they're going in the tank, man. Rich Shackelford wants me to talk about the moon dust that I put on my crankbaits.
Oh, you did on one of our live streams that first time wherever you put the dust on there on the stream.
I did.
You showed me the dust.
I did, man. Dang, man.
I need to get some of that. Hey, we were talking earlier about chatterbaits, and I want to let guys know a lot of people ask me about chatterbait rods, and I've always thrown.
What's your favorite?
I've been throwing a Daiwa 7.4 bladed jig rod. It's graphite. I really like that. Dobbins makes a good one, but I won't say how. But I came across a rod that was a prototype made by a company. I didn't even know them. I had to ask. It was a Rain Shadow blank, and this company is called Tiger Rods. And so and dude, it was a 7-foot glass rod composite, so it had graphite and then it blended to glass, had extra soft tip.
Yeah,
and dude, I threw it. And
And
as far
like
as
it?
I could feel that jackhammer and thunder cricket, every movement of the blade. But when a fish hit, it had a weird feeling to it because it was in that glass blend. I never lost a fish. They're all hooked up really, really good. And I was very impressed. And I said, well, how much is this? You know, custom rods, all that. She's like, oh, $110. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I got to get a hold of this guy. Because when I first threw a chatterbait, I fished a tournament here on Kentucky Lake. It's a big boat dealer tournament, Jetta Marina tournament. And I fished with the old guy. He said, I'm catching them on a chatterbait. I said, okay. And he said, we'll have 20 pounds in 10 minutes. I'm like, okay. Now, this guy's an excellent fisherman, but anytime you say that, I always call my expectations. Well, in his first 5 casts, he had 5 keepers in the boat. And he said, put down that rattle trap. And here's your chatterbait. And he sharpened the hook, put a swimming Cinco on it. And I said, what rod? He said, use your rattle trap rod, which I was throwing like a 7-foot quantum glass rod. And third cast, I catch like a 611 on this thing. So I've always at one time, for the longest time, I used a glass rod on a chatterbait. And then I couldn't feel them as good, so I messed around, and then I got this dowel rod 2 years ago I really like. But that composite deal, I like it. Because you got backbone, so if you get a big fish, but it's a soft tip. And chatterbaits, I've lost a lot of fish on a chatterbait.
I had a buddy who was using too stiff of a rod, man. And he was just, you know, he could have done way better in the tournament. He was fishing. I'm like, let me see that thing, man. It was like almost like a jig rod with an extra fast tip and, you know, way too much backbone. I'm like, man, your rod is loading at the 3rd guide. If your rod ain't loading 5 guides in, you know, you want a parabolic bend almost right to the ass. But you got to, it depends on where you're fishing too, right? You know what I mean? Depends on where you're fishing. If you're in heavy cover or super thick grass, you can't have a noodly rod because you got to snap the bait out, and you got to be able to handle the fish in grass. So you're going to miss some fish for sure, but it's a trade-off. So, and I think that's really unique. There's not a lot of anglers that are probably watching that have heavy grass rivers like I got on the Upper Bay or Potomac. You know, I know there are grass lakes all throughout the Southeast and stuff, but you get the concept. If you're open water chatterbait, you know, around just, you know, stumps or whatever, I mean, you'll be fine with a lighter weight, you know, but you're going to keep more fish pinned. The composite rod is a must in my book. It is a must.
And you know, you talked about Kistler. Well, you know, Billy Kistler, he designed all those rods for Castaway for a long time.
I didn't know that, man.
So Castaway was really the first company making those composite rods. That's what I learned to crankbait on, the Castaway cranking rods that were composite. They had the mini launchers and all that. I used to throw a lot of Kistler rods. They make it. This was years ago, 10 years ago. They made excellent crankbait rods, so I imagine those fill and reels are really, really good.
Yeah, because I've been worried that if I break one of my Loomis ones, now they have now, and I don't even know, man, because I haven't even looked at it, but they have their cranking rods in the Loomis lineup, but I'm not sure they're composite, so maybe somebody else out there knows about it. But I just love those bronze ones, man. Yeah, they just handle fish so dang good for me, man.
I know, and dude, Loomis makes that 813 spinnerbait rod. You ever used that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got them.
Freaking amazing.
I won a tournament with my buddy, our championship on the Upper Bay, 22 pounds, 6 ounces, and the main stick was the frickin' spinnerbait rod, and it just does the work. It handles it. We both had them. Yeah, they made one with the unbreakable guides. I don't love it as much. I like the one with the traditional guides, but 15-pound fluorocarbon, man, slow rolling. It was in November. I found those bigger fish on the channel swing banks. They came off the flat when the grass is dying, and they had it right any bank that had a channel swing on it. If you had a little bit of scattered grass, those 4, 5s, and 6s were right there. And that's all they wanted was a slow-rolled spinnerbait. You know, it's crazy. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite slow-rolling spinnerbaits for the fall, let me see if I got one. Where's my little spinnerbait box at? Put it around here, man. It's that Jackal Super Eruption.
Oh, snap. Don't say that.
That's it right there.
My buddy that's been on the stream, Jake Lawrence, he hammered me 3 weeks ago. Dude, I need some super eruptions. Where can I get them? And actually, I don't even think I was supposed to say that because he said keep this on the down low. But he loves that.
The deal with this bait, there's a couple things going on with it. I think one of the coolest things is, and I bought as many as I could afford, But right here, man, on that second blade nearest the head, they've welded the beads together. So that blade spins immediately. Like if you're moving it past cover and you kill it, this thing will helicopter on the way down because the beads don't allow the blade to slide up or slide down. And it starts spinning when it hits the water. I've cast this thing out in grass beds, and literally before I engage the reel, I have a bass hitting it because it's spinning down and the blades are helicoptering. It's super light wire. I love the hook. They're hand-tied skirts. It's super. It's just like it's super fine cut. I think one of the biggest deals about this bait is that it's a reverse teardrop. So it's not a traditional willow fin, but it's a teardrop in reverse. And so you could slow roll this, and you got a lot of flash, but you got the thump of like an Indiana and like a willow style blade. It's a heck of a bait, man.
And they're actually not overly priced. They're like cheaper than a jackhammer. They're like $11 or $12.
Yep. What do you think about that new Booyah Covert series that Christy just came out with?
Baitman Jr.'s got one.
Man? Talk to me, man. He's got like 27 SKUs.
Yeah.
Like in blade combinations. He's blowing my mind on Bass University, dude. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, so Baitman Jr. got one. I haven't thrown it, but I've looked at it. It's built pretty well. Now, do I think you need 27 SKUs in the spinnerbait?
No, man.
No, but the main one that I like is obviously the one with the kicker blade. But
like this one.
Yes. Yep, that's
the one,
the
right?
one Baitman Jr.'s got, chartreuse and white, just like it.
Chartreuse and white, orange kicker blade. Guys, I mean, this is why me and Baxter are talking about it. I mean, like, right now, you're going to get rains. You're going to get muddy water. You know, your temps might be falling because if it's a cold rain. That orange kicker blade will do you right in the spring, man. There's what is it about it? Who cares? It just friggin' works. And it's a 4.5, I noticed, Colorado. So this thing can be slow rolled, right? You know, a bigger blade's going to give you more lift. And he likes that single Colorado, too. So.
Yeah, I'm going to show you this.
Like that one.
I've shown the...
With the red head. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, so I've got enough short-arm nighttime spinnerbaits that all I would do is change a skirt out on like one of these guys. Maybe the most popular short arm of all time, the Stan Sloan Aggravator.
Oh my God, dude, you're going way back, dude, with that bead in there.
Yeah, bud.
Look at that, dude. Oh my God,
maybe
that is a
the most popular
killer.
nighttime spinner. All right, Bait Junior, you hold it. Nighttime spinnerbait ever.
Nice job, Baitman.
The only thing I didn't like about that
was the hook.
Freaking hook. I lost a lot of fish on it, but man, that sucker will slay, especially at night. I gotta find this. I've got a double Colorado right here. So this company, this guy watches the stream all the time. You gotta get some of his blades, dude. This is from a company called Angler's Assets. So he's got a little white kicker blade on here.
So you got a whole collection.
Oh wow!
But I've had some, and I lost my last one. It's a chartreuse and white with a chartreuse kicker blade in a Lake Barkley. About this time of year, that water gets dirty and it's coming up. They love those this bait, especially with the chartreuse blade. But he makes
chartreuse kicker blade.
He does anything anymore. He's a really good guy. Doesn't have a website. He just ships off Facebook and stuff like that. His name's Robert Danielson. Great guy. Watches the stream. He sends me all kinds of spinnerbaits. I haven't gotten any in a while, but it's one of them deals I don't ask because I don't ever want people to think I'm taking advantage of them. They're all handmade United States. He's a fishing nut, but he makes a really, really good spinnerbait. And if you say, hey, I need a chartreuse and purple with a purple kicker blade, he'll get it done.
It's hot.
What about the Trickster? With them big old freaking paddleboard.
I never got into that, but do you remember the hog collar that had the... It almost looked like French fries for a blade?
Like that one? No, you're talking about something else.
The hog collar triple rattleback spinnerbait. It didn't even have a blade. It had like... It looked like...
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. it was cut.
Yes,
What the heck?
it was like a
I
fork.
got one somewhere. I got it somewhere up here. Hold on.
Yes, Nichols Lures
look,
makes
man.
a great spinnerbait, Terry.
I got it somewhere here on my wall, man. On my crazy. Now can I find it is the question. I was just looking. I reorganized a little bit. I know that sounds like crazy to say, but it's somewhere right here, man. I was looking at it the other day. Where did that thing go, man? I want to find it so bad. Oh, man, we forgot about one crazy buzzbait, the weed wing. Remember that thing?
Yeah.
The lightest buzzbait ever made. What about that one? Dude, look at that one, man. The old weed wing, man, with the tin head.
Yeah.
That you could just reel like super slow with the crappy hook, man. Isn't that look at that blade. That's nuts, man. Anyway, I can't find that triple rattleback, dang it. But I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to Google it real quick. What was the name of that thing?
Yeah. What was that called, man?
I know it was a rattle. It may have just been a rattleback spinnerbait.
It might have
So
been.
the dude I fished with was telling me how awesome he is by the bushes, and I'm thinking, dude, you're
Can't find it. Oh, wait a minute. Talking about spinnerbaits, this is what I wanted to bring up to you, man. This is what the old guys used to do, man, apparently. Like late winter. Now we're talking about late winter slow rolling. The old double-bladed with the football head and throwing a pork chunk on the back.
Yep.
And getting it done. What do you think about
when
that?
I first learned to smallmouth fish at night, it was Uncle Josh 11A black and blue on the back.
Really? On the back
Yep.
of any spinnerbait.
Yep. So I actually went at night with Jeff Sloan, which is Stan's son. You know, Stan.
Oh my gosh! What?
And the guy that used to own Fisherman's Headquarters in Draftonville, his name's Jeff Evans, and he taught me a lot about night fishing. And we ran out. They ran out of black and blue, and I started putting a white in one with that frog pattern. And just started
White and green frog.
Yeah, just started slaying them. So for a long time, and then it got hard to get pork frog, and I figured out that you could just put a net bait packet chunk on the back and
and do as well.
Yeah,
isn't that funny? Did you ever throw pork? Did you get into it?
Yeah,
like
it was
with a
kind
jig?
of a winter deal, a really cold, muddy water for me. And
yeah,
the problem is I would always forget to take it off.
Oh my gosh!
And
right,
then
me too.
If you forget and it dries up, you got to get a pair of side cutters to get it off.
It's crazy. It's like the Berkeley bait, man. Berkeley Live.
Yeah.
The Berkeley freaking. You leave something on there, it dries on hard as a rock.
I like
Go.
that new Max Scent stuff they make because it's not. It's more of a soft plastic. It's not like the Berkeley Live or a Port Frog where if it dries up, you're done. It just. It's almost like watered down. Plus,
Yeah.
You know how if you leave a bait in your boat for a while and the live well, how it feels like saturated and it swells up? That's kind of how Max Scent is.
Here.
Oh yeah.
Now, I don't use all their. Dude, why'd you take the skirt off?
I didn't. It didn't.
Oh man, spinnerbait exploded. Baitman Jr.
Oh, no.
What's up, man?
I didn't do it.
It's all right. I'll put a new skirt on. It'll be okay. We got a pile that needs skirts up there. Let's see here. I was going to say something I forgot, but that's okay.
All right, so let's talk about the big, the big kicker blade spinner baits during the spawn. Are you throwing a trailer? And if so, what are you throwing it on?
I just throw.
What you throwing on the
simple.
back? Yeah. I mean, you can't be like a white grub, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a Zoom split tail
Cheap.
trailer, a white grub. I've got some. Dude, Mike Otten gave me a lot of stuff one time, and he had a bunch of old school Yamamoto. So I've got a big thing of white Yamamoto grubs.
Gotta love that.
And then Hog Farmer makes that spunk shad. Go to my truck and go get your tackle box out of there. I'll show you that spunk shad. It's not gonna like the spunk shad on a spinnerbait. It's kind of like the Zacho on a chatterbait. It doesn't make tons of movement,
do much.
but it's almost
Right.
like just a little flicking tail back there. It's just something to add some bulk to that spinnerbait.
Yeah.
Now
I like the freaking, and I throw this on a chatterbait a lot too, man. I mean, there's the old split tail grub. Man, those things just stay on like the man's one. I mean, that's fantastic, right? I think I had one rigged up because I had it ready for my tournament.
So here we go. Baitman Jr. He's going to show it to you.
Okay, there you go.
So I dipped that tail in a little red, so I've got a kicker tail and I've got a kicker blade.
Fine looking, man. That's fine looking.
You see how it's just kind of got a subtle little wiggle to it.
It does.
Adds
not much going on.
Adds a little bulk to it. Nothing crazy.
That's a covert. That's a covert.
Yeah, that's the covert. And then I put
that's
that
the covert, everybody.
Spunk Shad on it. So I've been putting that Spunk Shad on my deep spinner baits, man. It's really good.
I mean, it's a big pro. It gives it a nice profile, like a shad profile. Yes. I threw on curve for. I think we came in third. I was throwing my my super eruption, and I put a Kitech easy shad. No, Kitech little shad. What's that Kitech with the shad trailer? You know what I'm talking about?
Easy shiner.
Easy shiner. Yeah. Here's what I just got that I'm very interested to try, man. This is the Gambler Eel. Look at that thing, dude. I'm gonna cut it down. This thing is 8 inches long, so obviously I'm not gonna put 8 inches of plastic on a chatterbait. But I don't know, man, how that's gonna be nice, man. If I cut that down, that thing's gonna be like all over the place.
All right, let's answer a few questions here. One, Dennis, you're welcome. He said, thanks for the hookup on the Dobbins at 40% off. They were running a big sale. He took advantage. Good deal.
Wow, man. That's a great price. All Dobbins?
All Dobbins. You had to join their Facebook group, and you call them, and they would look you up, and they give you 40% off.
That's crazy, man. What a sale.
So, let's see. Epic Eric, have you ever used the missing link?
No. What is that?
It's a Rick Clundale Lucky Strike thing. And then Fat Guy Bassin.
Remember here? What is it?
Oh, the missing link is
like what kind of bait? Like, give me a category.
I think it's a spinnerbait. Let me look it up here on Google.
Oh my gosh, man! The questions are rolling in.
Man, it's
Stanford Baits. Gosh.
Stanford Baits. I'll pull one up. I'll pull one up.
I feel like I remember. Was it a jig spinner?
Yeah, it's kind of got a titanium wire going straight up.
I got it. I did throw it. I tried it because, look, guys, I fish grass, man, and I'm thinking jig and a spinner. Bass Pro made one like that, and the spinner had a rattle in it. You remember that one? Funky little deal. And there was a spinnerbait on my river that a guy made locally, my buddy Mike Draper. And it was, wire cable. And apparently, because of the wire cables, like aircraft wire, it would come through the grass better. Yeah, I don't know, man. We threw it like crazy back in the day, man. He hadn't made that bait for 20 years. The missing link. I didn't catch any on the missing link, by the way.
I threw it at night. I wasn't a big fan, to be honest with you. I thought, man, this is going to be great. Some deep points and some ledges. Letting it fall down. Yeah. I had a couple bites, but they just didn't eat it.
I wonder why.
Man,
I like the concept.
I do too.
I
tell you a bait that everyone's talking about bladed jigs. When I think of bladed jig, Bulldog lures. You remember the old Bulldog bladed swim jig? They had the little willow leaf on the back.
Oh yeah. What about the D&M Piranha? They got sued, so they had to stop making it.
D&M Piranha?
That's a hell of a bait. Yeah, you got one. I know you got one. I'll get one. What about the FMTC bait now? How you like that one?
The what?
FMTC.
I haven't seen one, but I gotta show you the big piranha.
Show me, man.
Oh, I got a 1.5 ounce jackhammer right here. So here's the big piranha. I've caught some big fish on a ledge. So that is a Callan's. That's a jumbo grub on that.
Look at that, dude.
That's a 1 ounce. That piranha will catch them. Now here's a 1.5 ounce jackhammer. and I put
1.5.
So I put that big hog farmer on the back of it.
See, you ledge fish, man. I'm fishing like 3 to 5 feet. That's about it.
Yeah, I need.
No, but when I go to Kerr, I imagine that 1 ounce jackhammer on those. You know, there's ledges, but not typical ledges. I mean, not like Kentucky Lake or Gunnersville.
There's another piranha. I bought these. Baitman Jr. is probably about 2 years old when I bought these, and I had a bunch.
Yeah.
I had some June bug ones and some other colors, and they're gone.
I'm gonna wait home.
Dang, man, I like that grub, man. You got to tell me what that grub is.
I got
Somebody asked me what I like to throw when I throw a big swim bait. There it is right there. Gancraft, jointed claw, slow sinking, 230, and Paul Bailey's reservoir shad. I think they call this chartreuse clear shad. You can still get them. Dude, this is awesome. Bill, man, deep fishing is addictive. I've only done it a couple times, and it was fun. Fun. I wish I had some deep areas near me locally, but I'm a river dude.
Well, we're just going to have to get you over to Pickwick about the end of May, 1st of June. And I got a buddy that can take us out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to come down there, man, do some filming.
Yeah, man.
That'd be awesome, man.
As long as you'll give me a trip up on the Potomac or wherever, or Maryland. I don't ever fish over there.
Anytime you want to come, man. Anytime you want to come.
Hey, unfortunately, we may have a lot of fishing time the next couple months. I don't know.
I know, right?
I don't know what you do for a living, but hopefully it's not impacted, because of...
No, man, knock on wood, man. We're doing all right so far, man. So technology, everybody can work remote. Somebody asked me what my swim bait setup is. I use a Shimano Tranks. I just happen to have it down here. Caught a big one with Travis on camera. That was pretty cool. But this is the exact setup that I use. I had Gamma 20-pound fluoro. Gamma 20-pound is like anybody else's 25-pound. I use my I Surrender bait wrap to keep the hooks out of my hands because these swim baits have some big dogs on it.
Yes, they do.
But there it is, man. Shimano Tranks. I got a G Loomis IMX. It's a 711. And it's a 855C swim bait rod. So got a nice moderate action. Yeah, it's moderate fast action, by the way. 711 IMX. So it just does the work, man. It does the work. I've caught anytime I throw that freaking swim bait, and I don't throw it a lot, by the way. You get a lot of follows. You get trigger bites. There's a lot of great YouTube videos and way better swim bait fishermen than me. But I don't know what it is about that bait, Baxter. But man, they eat it.
It glides really well.
Yes, it does. It's probably, I think, one of the best glides out there. I mean, there's a lot of choices in glide baits that you can make.
And the thing is, it glides well, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to do it. There's some swim baits out there that glide really well, but you got to know what you're doing. That's
right. Yeah, I think anybody can pick this one up. I use a decoy egg snap on the front. Mm-hmm. It's a number 5, I believe. So I'm not tying directly to the eye. It comes with one in the pack, by the way. But, I think I upgraded these to owners, I believe. ST36. And, yeah, man, it is the deal.
I'm a big fan of owner hooks.
Me too. I think that's my favorite for glides. I'm a Gami guy for cranking. I can't get away from the Gami round bend bronze if I could find it all the time.
They're hard to find.
I try to find, I try to find number 5s for my little flat sides, like on my mutts or EWGs. That's probably a number 6, by the way, Gami. But, I like the number 5s for a lot of application number 4s. But I put bronzes. That's a number 5 Gami on that wake bait, except for that, VMC hybrid. Now, see how I don't like they use that curved hook point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I want a straight hook point.
Right.
What about you?
I like them
especially me too, on a slash bait in particular. But I'll take the flash. I mean, heck, it's got 3 treble hooks.
I've done pretty well on like the triple grips, but I only do good on those if it's like that Mustang KVD short shank or like whatever 6 Sense uses. It's very close to like a triple grip. It's got an EWG, but they do good on a slash bait. I'm more of a fan of like the G Finesse hook, the Gamis, the round band bronze. But they're great on a trap, and if you catch them, they're usually there. But it's not good for fish that slap at the bait. When they're slapping, that round bend grabs them a whole lot better.
It does. It does. If they're choking it, yeah, I want to go with the EWG, right?
Yeah.
If they're slashing, I want a round bend for sure. And the triple grip, you can't argue with it. How about them triple grips? Even the old ones that came on like the Suddeth foamies.
Yeah, the old bandits.
Those old, oh my, the old bandits. If they got that hook,
they're there.
You couldn't get it out. You couldn't get it out. It's crazy.
Fat Guy Bastion wants to know the best bluegill spinnerbait out there.
Now, there's a funky color in the Super Eruption, so it's more about the skirt color. It's purple chartreuse.
Oh yeah,
with gold blades.
Now we're talking.
Purple chartreuse. It's a purple back with a chartreuse belly. There's no orange in the bait. The head, of course, had a little throat painted, you know. But I wreck them, especially post spawn on that spinnerbait. I don't know what it is. A double gold blade. There's no silver in the makeup. Double gold willow. 3/8 half ounce, whatever you want to throw for your conditions, and purple, straight up purple chartreuse. I've never seen a skirt out there like that. That's just weird looking, but I eat it.
I don't have anything that's that solid purple chartreuse, but you know.
Yeah, I could probably go find one in the back room. I don't have it with me.
Open this up.
You have a whole collection of them.
Brooke says you got a whole collection of them. I've got this guy.
Yeah, that's like a shaddy one, like a lavender shad.
Yeah, just dropped it. Yeah, that's it's an accent spinnerbait. I love the accent.
Oh,
and I know Jacob Wheeler, all that, but man, I was throwing these before Jacob Wheeler knew about them.
Now, what do you like about that accent?
So number one,
so the blade's a little bit different, right?
It's got these fluted blades, so you get a lot of flash off this. You can actually really tell good on that webcam. I'm surprised, but I really like the head design.
Nice. Why? What's going on with that head design?
Like
Let's
that
talk
old
about it.
Timmy Poe spinnerbait. You remember the Tim Poe spinnerbait?
Come on, let's talk about Timmy Poe for a minute.
I got that pill head.
Yeah, it is a pill head. That's exactly what that is.
That's a real thin wire spinnerbait. This is the river special, man. I've slayed them since I've been in high school on this thing.
You talking about this one?
Yeah. See, you got a tempo, and then I got an accent. There's not much difference there.
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, look at that hook angle, man. That's a bad little river spinnerbait right there, dude.
Yep.
That little joker right there with that gold Indiana hammer and that red kicker blade right there, and just a straight up white skirt. You get a little dirty water, and that's just a 1/4 ounce. That freaking joker catches them, man.
It's just something about that profile. It's not overbearing.
Somebody just said Tackle Warehouse has the bronze round beds and 5s in stock. Not anymore. Somebody's gonna order while we're talking.
Bait Yang, I haven't thrown the Molex. Here's one I haven't thrown yet.
Neither have
I bought these from a dude who's watching here. His name's James McMullen. He gave me a good deal on these. You throwing those? The V9 from
V9, yeah.
It's kind of similar to the Eruption. God, I wouldn't pay retail $21.99 for them.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's
because they made a power bomb too that had those funky blades. They're slow rolling.
Yeah, I gotta open this up.
Hey, but let me ask you a question, Baxter.
Yeah, man.
How you like that little haywire twist on the end of that?
So that's
pose,
the deal.
Man?
A lot of guys don't do that anymore. The only person I know that makes one like that, Spot Sticker Ron Coleman, he makes that option if you want that twisted wire on the end. Dude said bluegill. That's not a bad bluegill imitator right there on that mega.
No, that's nice right there.
Look how short that skirt is.
Yeah, very short. But look at the frickin' look at the blade configuration. Yeah. That is wild.
Hey,
and see how the beads are welded?
Yep.
That makes that bait spin immediately. The blades engage, and on the fall it'll helicopter.
I'm gonna have to try that guy out. Still in the
pack.
So
Dustin Taylor says that Tim Pose will work better with a mag willow. Interesting.
So Dustin, he fishes southern central Illinois, and He's a pretty good hammer. He's just from my Facebook feed, I see him winning
I'm
quite a
asking
bit. So
what size mag willow is he changing up to? 1/4 ounce? Talk to me, man.
yeah, Dustin.
Is that
You said it, Dustin. You tell us.
Are you talking about the 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce Timpos, and then what size mag willow? Are we talking about like a 4.5? You talking about like bigger?
This is number 4.
How many?
Number 4. I'm gonna try on the 1/4 ounce, Dustin.
I don't know.
So on that 1/4 ounce bait, put a mag willow on. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna leave it out just to make a reminder. What about painted blades? Like all painted blades.
So when that water's dirty like it is now, I like
So like,
the double.
all right, what's that one? Come on now. I know you know this one, man. Look, I'll show you see the connection right there?
I'm not sure what that is.
Dude, it's a Stanley.
Stanley wedge?
Vibra shaft.
Vibra shaft.
So the deal with the Vibra shaft, now, was that marketing or was that real? So the wire was thicker here, and then Lonnie Stanley tapered the wire to be thinner at the point of the blade. So it's thinner here than it is on the head. So it transferred more vibration. And apparently, is this still true? Back in the day, the blades were made in America. And then blades got made someplace else.
Right.
And the blades were better back in the day.
I have always heard that back in the day the blades were better. But you'll have guys now that swear the components are as good, if not better. I also think there's a big fishing superstition because it was made years ago. It was better.
It's better. What about? Well, some of the hooks were junk. I hated the hooks on those baits. You got gummies now built in. All right. Do you remember the blade called the Roomba?
Yes, I remember the Roomba blade.
The Roomba blade. If I could find one, where's my blade? Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm impressed where I'm finding stuff tonight. Fast, dude.
Yeah, dude.
How about that old thumper blade by frickin' what you call it, Stanley, man?
So the Stanley wedge was one of the original.
That's what I'm talking about.
The wedge, man, that's a hell of a ledge spinnerbait.
Really?
It's the only one you'll ever sell on Kentucky Lake is a Stanley wedge, and you'll sell it 1 month out of the year.
There's the Stanley wedge right there,
That's
blade,
it.
man. What made that blade? That blade was tapered too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Thinner down here and thicker on the end. Thinner here and thicker here. Crazy. That's why they call it the wedge, man. I'm trying to find me a Roomba. It should be in this little pack. Oh, I found the blade that we were talking about earlier. That's it, dude.
That's it. That's it. It's called the triple rattleback vibration spinnerbait. Dude, that thing
What
right there,
the heck, man?
I am convinced after seeing it in action. Flooded bushes, up shallow, they like that thing. It's crazy in the water, but man, I don't know.
So, I mean, how hard would that be to make?
Oh,
So, I mean, it's just a piece of metal cut with some shears, right?
that's what it looks like.
I
You could
mean,
probably
come
just
on,
take
man.
a willow blade and split it and see what happens.
You could, but that's an awfully thin willow blade, man. If anybody out there's got a machine shop, man, let's make some. But you got to have the triple rattleback head too. It was the head with built-in rattles, right to the head. Right, it was on the shaft of the spinnerbait. Dang, man.
Hey, what are you doing?
What?
I'm talking.
What was that big? What was that big blade that Stanley made? It was called a thumper blade, not the wedge.
Yeah.
What was
Man,
that called?
I forgot the name of it.
Dang, man, what is that stupid blade?
Have you ever seen the jackal that's got, it's like a 1.5 ounce spinnerbait and it's got like a number 1 willow? It's a giant willow blade. I mean, it looks like a magnum. It looks like a flutter spoon for a willow blade.
I got it. It's called the, I got it back there. I could go grab it, but what is it called? Come on, man. Let's think about it. Dang. It's like a number 7. It's like that long.
Yeah.
The blade is that long, and the hook is small. That's the weird part about that bait. It's got such a giant blade, but not a very big hook.
It's not.
It's underpowered.
The new one they make is called the Dune. But this is.
That one was called the what? Man, that's irritating me.
It's
dang.
It's yeah.
I'll think about it.
I'm looking. All
right, you gotta look, man, because that's gonna drive me nutty. I thought I had one hanging up, but I don't. But that blade is truly huge, man. Truly huge.
My buddy Ben Parker's got a couple. He says it works.
The big one. Like, I think, like, what time of year is Ben Parker throwing
Dead
that?
summer. When they start eating those big gizzards.
Big gizzard shad, right?
Yeah.
What about the old Excalibur with the counter-rotating blade?
Those were good.
You remember that? The Riverside one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Those are really hard to find, too.
I got a bunch of them. You need a few, let me know.
I hope I get my trunk.
Dude,
I'm hoping to get my trunk buck soon so I can catch up on my bills, and then I'll just buy a bunch of tackle.
That's right. That's right.
I'm worried, though, because what if all these people that, restocks from Tackle Warehouse, all these manufacturers, they're getting slowed up, too, because of this.
No, you got to think, right? I mean, you got to think, man. A lot of that stuff's made overseas, man. So that's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a break in the supply chain?
Jackal Megalodon. Thank you, Brian Lee.
Oh, man.
Megalodon.
There it is, man.
That's it.
All right, I got to look at that again.
It's a giant.
Yeah. I'm looking. I got to look. The Ledge Buster. Big 1.5. Heck yeah, man.
Didn't like the Ledge Buster, man. Did not like it. I had some bad experiences on it.
What happened?
I couldn't ever get them to run very good.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now, a new company bought them out. There was a time, man, that's all I threw spinnerbaits. I didn't care if it was a foot or 50 foot. I'd throw a spinnerbait. But they used to bite it really good during ledge season, and they kind of died off. And I think a lot of that's because our shad population has really went down with all the Asian carp stuff.
For real? Wow.
And the carp aren't eating the shad; they're eating what the shad eats, so the shad don't get to feed and multiply.
What about carp colored baits? I mean, what's a baby Asian carp look like? You got to figure out. Hey, man, bass eat snakeheads.
Do they eat carp? I've already caught.
Yeah.
I caught bass with carp in them. Kind of has got more of a brownish back to it, but for the most part, the coloration is very similar to a gizzard shad.
Right.
Especially the small babies, people get them confused. But once they get older, they've got like a syrupy brown color on the back. But they're still silver and whitish on the sides. But the thing is, you'll snag one carp and it'll be silver and blotched up. Those big heads almost get like a leopard kind of deal going. The silvers are they're very similar to like the sides of this wake bait. See how it's got that iridescence? That's kind of like a silver carp, but imagine this back having some brown to it and not blue.
I got you. Okay, I'm with you.
They're kind of ugly, but they're very similar to a gizzard shad or anything.
And I wonder if they eat them just like they eat the shad.
They
got to, right? I mean, it's prey.
I've seen photos of someone that's caught like a 7-pounder and had a Asian in its mouth, and you can tell their tails are really forked. And I did catch a smallmouth that had like a 2 or 3 month old Asian in it, and it was about that long, and it had that forked tail. And when I pulled it out and threw it on the boat, I knew it wasn't a gizzard or threadfin, and I just assumed it was just baby Asian. But
baby Asian carp.
Supposedly, the stripers like rockfish love them. Like
really,
guys I know that fish below the dam, they try to get baby Asians and drift them so that they catch giant.
Just wreck them.
Yeah, giant rockfish.
What are they doing about that Asian carp problem, man?
I don't know. I think we may be under a tornado warning here.
What?
Yeah, we got bad storms coming through. I got my door open because it's hot out here.
I can hear it raining.
Yeah, we've got the scenic background tonight. So.
That's right. I'm hoping you're all right, man. I saw that weather report.
All right, let's see. Have you guys seen the Alabama rig looking spinnerbait from True Bass? Now, I'm going to stop you, William Jackson. Because True Bass really didn't make it. Now, I don't have nothing against True Bass swim baits or anything. But my man, Brent Anderson, designed this guy about 4 years ago under the alias of Elvis. So this is an original Elvis that Brent made. This is this one's 1.5 ounces, Eric. So this is before
night.
True Bass started making them. And you see, you got that fluted blade up there, like the action.
Yeah.
This is a pretty sweet ledge deal. I'll be honest with you. They crushed this thing.
Does he still make it?
Yeah. So what he did is, Brent guys down there, Vero, Bass Lakes of Florida, and he worked a deal with the new owner of True Bass Swimbaits. Because Brent says, dude, it takes up all my time to make those. And so True Bass will be manufacturing those now. And,
yeah, Ryan. You're talking about Ryan Salzman, right?
Yeah, there's another guy that owns that company now. I forgot his name.
Okay.
Okay,
gotcha.
Now, Ron may be putting them together. I don't know. But
yeah, sure.
But Brent Anderson is the guy that invented this. And he actually invented it about 8 years ago, went through several prototypes, and that's the finished product. But it's kind of
cool.
like
What
a mini
size
A-rig.
Yeah, what size does it come in? I'd rather throw that than an A-rig.
I think he goes 1 to 1.5 ounce. So
one ounce is the lightest it comes in.
Yeah, you got to have heavy because you're going to get a lot of lift with this thing. And
I got you, because all the blades. That makes sense.
So what Brent puts on the back is like an old white curly tail worm.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of worm?
I don't know. I had a pack of them laying around here somewhere.
Dude, don't lose that pack, man.
I gotta find it. Hey,
that's a cool deal right there, man.
Go bring me that brown box over there. I think I know where they're at. I'm gonna have Bait Junior look for them.
Bait Junior's a great running man. Look, and how much does he charge an hour?
$20.
$20 an hour.
Not that box, Brooks. There's another brown box outside the door.
Plus a Mountain Dew.
Yeah. He gets room and board, as my dad would say. I'm not giving you an allowance. I'm giving you a round and board. Hand me the box, the whole box.
Oh, my God. That's awesome, man. Frankie Five Fingers is now the BA pin. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was... Let's see. Where's these... I'm trying to find these. There's probably been a spider in this box. That's the problem.
Oh, shit.
Got a pair of channel locks here. Well, I had them the other day. I don't know what I done with them.
All right, we'll get to it another show.
Put that back outside.
Interesting. How long does the worm come off the back of the bait?
About 6 inches. It's like it's about a 6-inch curly tail.
Okay, so it just looks like an old culprit kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep, like an old culprit worm.
Yeah, but white. That's interesting. Dang. It's crazy. I haven't even. How much do you have in baits? I have no clue.
I don't want to know.
Sean Z says Mega Bass stuff in Jackal JDM is getting sparse already.
Right.
Interesting.
The wind is blowing hard.
The wind is blowing hard. I gotta catch up on our comments here.
Yeah, I hear you.
So did you throw the True Bass? What's the name of their hollow belly? Just the True Bass Swimbait.
True Bass Swimbait hollow belly, man. Yeah, we did. We threw it on Wilson on a 3/4 ounce his screw lock head, and it was dynamite, man.
Yeah,
dynamite.
I've got some heads very similar. Those were really nice Swimbait heads.
We caught him. He makes a great Swimbait head for sure, man. All right, I got one for you. Who knew that Daiwa made a vibrating jig? Daiwa made a Steez weedless vibrating jig, which is a total infringement on the Z-Man patent.
Right. So
hey man, I'm gonna have to send one of these to you. We have to do a little trade up.
You want me to drop some knowledge here?
Go ahead, man.
Daiwa is the
Baitman.
Daiwa is the exclusive distributor for Evergreen in the United States. So your Daiwa rep is also your Evergreen rep. Now where I live, your Daiwa rep is also your Z-Man rep. So when you go to a lot of these trade shows like ICAST and all this, your Daiwa rep would be in the Daiwa booth, and the other half of the day is in the Z-Man booth. So it makes sense that there's a Steez bladed jig because there's
got a connection.
There's a little connection.
They didn't get sued. So yeah, we're right, because it was the Evergreen bait before it was the Z-Man jackhammer, right?
And actually, before it was the jackhammer, it was the Phoenix vibrator jig. With the
That's right.
And a lot of guys forget, when Brett was really smoking them, he was
using a vibrator.
Yeah, it was a Phoenix. And then they got sued. And
sounds better when you say Phoenix. I said vibrator. Oops.
It's all right. This can be an adults-only broadcast.
Right.
You've seen the Reaction Innovations flesh rocket floating on Kentucky Lake, right?
I did. I saw that, man. But I'm still on this chatterbait, man. It's got me curious because I've just found it. I stumbled on it. So it's got a hand-tied skirt. It's got that weed guard, a nice stout hook. It's carbon steel because it's flat on the side. Super thin blade.
That's what I'm looking for to throw around wood.
There it is, man. I'll let you know. I'm gonna take this and chuck it in some wood and see if it comes through.
I'll bet you $10 it comes out of the same place jackhammer is made at.
Yeah, man. I wish I could read it. Steez. It's called the Steez Cover Chatter. It's a ½ ounce. Just FYI. So yeah, I got this chartreuse color one. Man, that'll get bit in muddier water, and it's only in silver blades. They have no other colors. Now I could throw some like glitter on there. You know what I mean? I could paint a blade up or something like that with some nail polish, which works pretty good.
All right, this is a good question, and it's a crankbait question. What domestic crankbait do you think has the widest hunting action? Not a JDM.
Domestic. Dang. That's a great question. Hunting action. We talking flat or round?
Well, I didn't.
Flat or round?
You may not like this answer, but I don't think. I think a lot of companies say their baits hunt, and they don't.
But they don't. That's exactly right.
I think a lot of guys have mixed up a wide track to a hunt. I feel like a true hunting bait. You don't even realize it. It just has one quick kick, and that's that's
right.
These ones that just go, that's not a hunt. It's just a,
Are we talking about like a handmade balsa bait or production plastic bait? That's the other question.
James Barron says any of them.
Any of them. That domestic plastic baits hunt? Like true hunt?
You got like a curve, from 6 Cents, which is very similar. It's basically an S crank. Teckle Drunker does the same kind of deal. But again, that's really not a hunt. That's just the motion of the bait. But those old Bagleys, man, you know what I'm talking about. Some of those wooden flat sides. Those got a true hunt. You'll just be reeling. And you can see it in a pool. It's running straight, and then for just one split second, it just got like a slight twitch.
Just kicks out. That's it. Yeah. Right.
Whereas the guys that think they're hunting because it's darting back and forth, well, that's just how they are on retrieve.
Right.
And the ones that hunt, they don't have to hit the bottom to do that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's like that Imikatsu,
Dude, that wattle bait is like...
It's ridiculous. It's like, same thing with that chatterbait. The moth chatter does the same thing. It's just constantly searching for center. It's friggin' awesome, man. It triggers bites just when you're reeling it. You don't have to snap it, pop it, nothing. Right?
Yeah, I feel like
I'd love to see if they could get a swim jig to hunt.
It's called I Make a Shitty Retrieve.
Right, just pop it.
Yeah, you got the Alabama guys. This is what they're doing.
Right.
If they're from Alabama, it's a shake.
They're shaking it.
And you get the guys from Florida, it's just a straight retrieve. And guys like me, I'm like,
do both.
Yeah, I'm just kind of a lift and drop. It's interesting if you watch a guy like Steve Kennedy swim a jig, and then a guy like Seth Feider swim a jig. Totally different way, and they both catch them.
Somebody says the Jackal MC60's coming back.
What? Tackle Warehouse has those.
Come on, man. Look at my little MC60 I painted up all crazy, man. You'll like this one. I call it my fire crawl. Talk to me about that with some nail polish.
I like that one.
Come on, ain't that hot right there?
Yep, that's a good one.
That's the old MC60. Man, they were closing these out. Can you believe it? That's an underrated bait right there.
What do you think about the Rapala SR7 Shad Wrap? That's the shallow runner, I believe, with that L-bill.
That L-bill, right there you go. Wasn't that like the first L-bill that I remember seeing?
Mm-hmm.
That catches them, man.
It does. I'm a big fan of just the regular shad rap.
I love the shad raps. I mean, you talk about an early spring bait in 5, 6, or 7, man. You can do some work, man.
Let me ask you this.
You know,
well, let's talk about some soft plastics up shallow. What are some soft plastics you flip or pitch that a lot of guys don't talk about? Or are you just a guy that I just throw a beaver and go?
No. I'm going to answer this one guy's questions. Chuck, yes, I put Sally Hansen hard as nails clear over anything I paint, and it does fine. You'd be surprised how durable it is. You got to let it dry a way long time, because if you put it in a tackle box or one of the clear plastic boxes and it gets in the hot sun, it'll smell like nail polish. So it takes a long time. I probably don't dry enough between coats, but I don't care. It doesn't seem to bother the fish. Use some smelly jelly on it. All right, so for me, a sneaky presentation before the Tokyo rig came out, and I didn't talk about it much. If you watch Smallmouth Crush, you saw me turn Travis onto it. Travis is a drop shotter, but he's drop shotting light line on a spinning rod. I'm throwing a power shot on 14-pound test gamma, which is like 17, 18, 20 of anybody else's. I'm putting a 3/8 ounce drop shot. I'm keeping that leader frickin' 4 to 6 inches, and I'm throwing a missile baits. You can throw any bait you want,
right.
Croc style bait. You could even you could do a beaver. You could do you could do anything. But I'm telling you, and I'm putting it in places where people would never put a drop shot, and I'm scoring big.
Right.
And to me, that's a Tokyo rig. Now, the Tokyo rig's got that harder wire, so yeah, it can punch better. But I never had a problem getting into a bush, a lay down, and it's just a presentation they don't see much.
Yeah, so I think there's a big difference between that and the Jika rig. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This is why Andrew Upshaw's mad at me. He made a video and says, entitled, it's the same thing. And I'm like, but it's, Tokyo rig, Jika's different.
Yeah, very different.
But I like that Jika rig. It's not a presentation where the bait's really off the bottom. It's just
it's free swinging.
It's free swinging,
and the bait's above the weight instead of the weight being nose down, right? And I mean, it just gives a different presentation to the fish.
Yeah.
You think about a short drop shot; it's only 4 inches, so that bait's sitting right there. It's floating up and down. It's moving like that. So it gets bit, man. It gets bit.
I tell you what, one of my buddies does. He flips with wobble heads. He said, "Man, I quit pegging the weights and I just use wobble heads." He said that way, flipping a bush, I don't get a bite. I can swim it out real quick and then kill it on the bottom. He said I catch a lot of fish like that.
Yeah, my number one finesse bait, and I'll just tell your viewers because that's what I'm about. If I could only pick one and I needed a limit. And you can fish it many different ways, and it works across the country. It works in grass. It works in wood. It works in rock. It works anywhere for anything. It's so stupid, man. I can't even believe I'm about to say it, man. It's the Zoom Centipede.
Oh,
in green pump,
yeah.
With a dip tail, man. 16th ounce, 8th ounce, 3/32, dude. On just whatever your favorite hook is, on 12-pound Yozuri, whatever. You're just gonna. It just gets bit. It just gets bit.
Does.
I can fish behind people and catch fish. You could drop shot that bait. You can flip that bait.
Split shot it.
You can split shot rig it. Don't even talk about that, man. I was on the Potomac. This is how good this bait is. So my buddy Adam Barjak, he used to fish the Centipede, and he'd fish it on the old frickin' one you could buy from Walmart, man. What the hell was it? It's like a mushroom head. It's not the gopher, but it's sold in Walmart. Arky.
Yes,
Arky with the wire weed guard. And he would catch jaints on it. We all threw it in our club. So I started split shotting it. And I was in a very popular cove on the Potomac called Bryan's Cove. And there was a lot of storms in the area. There was a PA tournament coming out of another ramp we launched out of Fort Washington. So when I got into Bryan's Cove, and these fish were on the beds, and Bryan's Cove had milfoil. And the bass were loaded in there. There must have been, Baxter, I could cast any boat around me from Pennsylvania and Maryland. There must have been 25 boats in this very small cove. And I'm throwing the Zoom Centipede split shot. I got my frickin' smelly jelly, man. And UV, dude. I'm throwing an 1/8 ounce, probably an 1/8 ounce split shot, about 12 inches up and I'd be dragging it through the grass. And anytime I felt a little tick, that meant I was in the fish's bed. I would just leave it there. Literally, I think I caught 4 limits in there, and I might have seen 4 or 5 other bass around me caught. Dudes were like trying to figure out what I was throwing, but I was really keeping it kind of squirrely.
I tell you, it was a good one. I'm glad we're talking about this, Dale, is the Lake Fork ring fry.
Oh, geez, right? I mean, probably just as good, right?
I like it better out deep. I'm not good with the ring fry up shallow. Zoom Centipede, man, is a deal. Again, there's windows, and that centipede catches them.
What is it about that damn bait? There you go. There's a little Zoom Centipede for y'all right there.
Oh, yeah.
Zoom Centipede,
so we
man.
Can do this.
A pack of 20 cost you what? On sale?
$3.99.
$3.99.
So
come on, man.
So this is
you can wacky rig this thing.
Yeah, this is the 6 cents Ned fry. Well, you know what we can do to this?
Cut that buddy in half. Hello. Douche.
Look here.
Yeah, man. Yup.
Looky here.
Look at that color too. I love it.
I do like that color. They call that bluegrass flash. They didn't make it after me. They come out. I didn't know they were coming. Might have cut a little too much off, but it's still got.
Still, man. That's it, man.
We can Ned rig
the other Zoom bait for which I prefer almost for split shotting is the Fish Doctor. It has more of a glide to it. So if I'm pitching or drop shotting, I like or Texas rigging or shaky heading, I like it the French fry. But if I'm split shot rigging exclusively, and nobody does that anymore, by the way, I don't hear of anybody reliably. And frankly, I got away because the guys I fish with fish too freaking fast.
Hold on, I got another
on my team. Yeah, go ahead, man. I think that's awesome. Alan Howard, that's right, man. Pink Link. Power Bait, that's right, man. Oh my God, Power Bait made the noodle. The Berkeley noodle.
Baitman Jr. has put tackle all over the floor here. But look at this guy. Yeah. Old school company right here.
The pocket. With the air pockets.
That is a great centipede fry bait right there.
Dude, right there. Look how supple that thing is, man. Yeah.
But you know what?
Do they still sell it on their website?
They must sell them on their website, but very similar profile that Fish Doctor. You know the round ends.
Yeah.
Dude, that Fish Doctor no one talks about. That's an awesome drop shot bait, by the way.
No doubt about it, man. And it's a great Carolina rig bait when the fish get funny, man. That's another technique that's just like gone.
So that's a video I want to try to make this week. I got to break down.
You got to make a Carolina rig video.
Let's talk Carolina rigging.
All right, how about that weight that was brass?
Yes.
And it had a swivel on each side. I've only got like 5 or 6 left. That's it, man. What was that bait? Where can you get it? Do they still make it?
Top Brass made it, I believe.
That's right. Do they still make it?
Well, let's check out what's in the terminal coffin here.
Baxter, my man.
I may not have one. Here's what I got. This is the Strike King version. It doesn't. It does not have the swivel up top.
Right.
But you could put a swivel there.
You could. It's got the swivel at the bottom though.
So this one dude that I trust that's really good at Carolina rigging says he will never use this. That he wants you. He thinks you don't need this.
Really?
Yeah. He said he uses as heavy as he can get away with, about an ounce and a half.
Yeah. He wants just an old lead egg sinker rolling around on the bottom. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? All right, let's talk about this on the business end. People think that baits float. They don't on a Carolina.
That's why I'm trying to get a freaking fish tank in here. You would think.
Yeah.
As popular as stuff I post on Facebook, I said, look, I'm in search of a fish tank. I never got but one person, and he said, I got one, but it's got fish in it. And it's just like my best friend, and he's buying my pool. If I can't get a fish tank and get rid of my pool, I'm going to be putting bass in my pool. 20.
Oh, my God. That'd be awesome.
But no,
that'd be awesome.
I argue with people all the time about baits floating. I mean, Z-Man does, but on a Carolina rig, for the most part, they just slowly sink and they drag behind it.
They do.
Now, you'll get some that as you're pulling it, they dart up like a beaver.
Yes.
A beaver behind a rig, they go and then slowly spiral down.
That's probably why it's so good.
Dude, a beaver on a Carolina rig's good. A Super Fluke is an amazing Carolina rig bait.
That's interesting, man. I haven't spent a lot of time doing that,
Green pumpkin Super Fluke on a Carolina rig.
I'm going to have to try that.
So, and there's some guys on the FLW tour that drew an old man that's a buddy. His name's Maurice. Good friend of Scott Canterbury's will attest that Maurice smoked some guys dragging a green pumpkin fluke on a Carolina rig behind him.
Man, I'm writing that down. Now I gotta convince my buddies to slow down enough to throw a Carolina rig.
So you know what the OGs used to do is they put a tube on a Carolina rig, and then
and stuffed like an earphone thing in it.
And it would make that thing float up. My favorite bait in the last few years has been a 6-inch Cinco or the big Ocho. I actually like the Ocho better now.
Really? Why?
When you pull that Carolina rig, it you know how a Cinco flutters or whatnot. Well, when you're pulling on a Carolina rig, Cinco was originally made as a soft jerkbait.
Yeah.
It wasn't just by chance they figured out, well, this thing's even better once it hits the bottom. But it kind of darts around and just does this weird number behind it. But when you stop it, because I'll pull my Carolina rig, and then I stop it, and I count to 5 or 6. And I get that hard spot. I'm just sitting there, just shaking it. But that Cinco back there, it's all doing this number. It shoots up and then it falls back down. Because you ever fish a Cinco without any weight, it does not take much rod movement at all to get that thing to dart up off the bottom. You've never seen any clear water. When you pull it behind that Carolina rig, it darts up and then it just kind of does this slow shimmy down. A lot of times we're dragging that thing and you're stopped and all of a sudden your rod goes it's like it's falling down and that fish sees it before it hits the bottom and grabs it.
Sucks it, man. Dude, is that the best feeling ever?
Yeah, man. Those big smallmouth, we've caught several big smallmouth on that. I don't know why.
What do you all right, so bed fishing's coming up. So you got pre-spawn. We kind of talked about a bunch of pre-spawn lures like, slow rolling the spinnerbaits and stuff. Do you bed fish much?
Our water's not really that clear enough. If I'm bed fishing, I'm blind fishing, and that's when I'm using like a wake bait or a Buzzbait to show one. And then I come back with the beaver bait or some kind of crawl bait.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Most of all the sight fishing I know, I learned from Kelly Jordan, which is one of the best in the world. Now, I'm going to give you some shit right now. He really stunk it up. He stunk it at Fork, man. He's my man. He should have blew them out of the water because they were on beds, but,
Yeah, right?
I think he just told me I was going to catch 5 that weighed 50 pounds, and it didn't work. So,
man.
But,
dang.
So, one trick, you hear white baits. You got to have a white structure bug or white lizard and all that, and that's great. But the guys that were using white were doing it because they were fishing from a distance, and they wanted to see their bait. They weren't.
That's right.
They wanted to see their bait disappear.
That's right.
But the guys that are really good, you ever watch them? They're using green pumpkin and watermelon.
Sure, that's right.
In that clearer water where you can really see the fish, they can see your bait and they can see you. You want to go as natural as you can get.
Interesting.
Shady Banks says, do you Carolina rig up or down a ledge? Always down. Always fit. Boat in the deep water, you throw it to shallow.
That's right.
But now, I've learned so much, I will Carolina rig parallel. Because a lot of times these fish are scattered down the drop. Instead of just on top, they're scattered down the break. You put your boat, you parallel to them. And why would you make a cast where you're only bringing it through 4 fish when you can bring it through 30?
Heck yeah. That makes sense. Kind of like cranking, right?
Yeah.
Once you figure where the fish are they 6 to 8, they 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Parallel that bank, and that's when you can really get effective, man. There's no doubt because you're keeping the bait in the strike zone longer. Makes complete sense, man. I like that. Heck yeah, man.
Either of you have the old D&M piranha bladed jigs? Dave from Alabama. Man, you missed us about an hour ago. We had the piranhas everywhere.
There you go. Here's one. I hand tied that skirt. Little chartreuse, little shad back.
I like that skirt.
Trying to make a, yeah, and that's an FMTC painted blade. So I thought I'd throw him something a little different with the white glitter blade.
I'll throw this in there. I really respect Z-Man for what they do with the patent, because a lot of companies have patents, but they don't enforce them. I respect that, because they bought a company and they knew it was a deal that, hey, everyone's going to try to make it. They're trying to protect their profits. But it does suck, because there's people like D&M that made an amazing bladed jig. And it's different than a regular chatterbait with the head and all. So you do have that trade-off. But those patents are going to run out.
Well, how long did they have that patent for? I didn't think about that.
I think they've only got about 2 or 3 years left on it.
What? All right, I got another chatterbait that I was kind of holding back on.
Never hold back.
There's a whole category of like finesse chatterbaits, which you know about it. So on a smallmouth lake, man, I got into throwing the Z-Man Mini. It's like a 1/4 ounce, super small. But then I was checking out this Nori's, and this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I just seen those.
It's got a clear blade on it.
Yeah.
How about that? And this thing rattles. It's got a super long skirt, small stout hook, but kind of like the concept of the Moloch's Lover.
Yeah.
You know, where the blade is attached to the head and fixed. It's kind of got that a scrounger kind of a build to it. But this one is like, you know, this blade moves, and it's made out of polycarbonate.
Eric, you're going to have to entertain the people for 1 sec. Nature is calling.
No problem. Go ahead, man. Let me see if there's any questions, man. We've been yapping and haven't been answering any questions. What kind of questions do you guys have? Senko with a power spinner. Sean Z. There is no question about it, man. I tried it for the first time on Kerr last year, throwing a Senko with a tail spinner. So it's got that little corkscrew attachment. Who does that a lot, man? He's from Louisiana. Anyway, the bass on Kerr absolutely just, I couldn't keep him off the bait. It was crazy, man. I think there's a couple ways to do it. You know, post spawn's a great time. Pre-spawn for sure. You know, you can flip, you can pitch it. You can just let it flutter down like a regular Senko. You can slow, steady reel that thing as well. You can yo-yo it in grass beds or around cover. You know, but a Senko with a tail spinner, how about that? I'm going to see what Baitman thinks about that one, man. What do you think about the Senko with the tail spinner, man?
I haven't tried it. I know that Brian Latimer likes that thing. You know, he puts it on like the whatever the name of the Z-Man Senko is. So a lot of guys do that here in the spawn. The humdinger blade, is the one I always did. I've not done it.
You should do it, dude. I tried it at Kerr last year, and I flat out wore them out, man. I'm talking numbers of fish. I think I put 1 fish, to be fair, which was about 4, in the box for weigh-in. But the numbers of fish I caught were flat out ridiculous. The buckbrush, laydowns, and I was basically pitching that bait. So you got the Senko that's doing that little wiggly thing and that tail spinner that's floating behind it. They wouldn't leave it alone. Really? I was throwing baby bass, Senko, didn't matter. I throw the color you like. You know, silver or gold. If it's dirtier water, I'm going to throw a gold blade. If it's silver and in clear water, I might throw the willow leaf. But typically, if it's got a little stain, I'm going to throw the humdinger Colorado blade on the back. It was ridiculous. The number of bites that I got and fish that I landed. I had multiple limits. That wouldn't won me anything. Right. But if you're a co-angler in the back of the boat and you're in a situation where a Senko's getting bit, do yourself a favor and buy some of those humdinger tail spinners. They're legit. Flat out. Fact. 3 ways to do it, right? Steady reel, pitching it like we just talked about, and then you could even yo-yo it or whatever.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of guys
just
they
use
even put on a
imagination.
wacky rig, and they'll just sit there and shake that wacky rig, and that blade just sitting there making a little flutter. It's just like a little tease.
That's crazy, man. Man,
Dude, bait that gets bit. A lot of guys don't talk about it. It's forgotten about. A freaking tube in the bushes.
oh yeah,
That gambler flipping tube.
oh
Last
yeah.
time I talked to Brent Ayler, he sent me a text, said, "How many gambler flipping tubes can you get me?" And I said, "Man, I
What?
only know where like 4 packs are." He says, "I need 30 to 50 packs of them." And I'm like,
But why the Gambler and not any other
I
one?
think it holds up a little bit better. It's got
Okay.
a long body, that gambler, and it's got really short tails. So when they bite it, they're not getting
They
just
eat
all
the
their-
bait.
Yeah, they eat the bait. You need to watch that tactical bass and underwater video of those fish eating the soft plastics. It'll blow your mind.
Oh, I saw a couple of them. Did I watch that one the other day? No, I watched like they were comparing actions of different soft plastics. That's
Right.
really cool.
Well,
Oh, stick bait. The stick baits. That's the one I watched. That nobody ate it.
well, they had
Just,
one where
you
the
know.
bass are eating the creature baits, and you know how a lot of time, like the old guys, like my dad, they go, "He's got it," and he waits and he like hits it again, and
Yeah,
he swings and he misses.
yeah.
So I'm thinking, a lot of times when you feel that first bite, he sucked it in, and then when you feel it thump again, you set the hook,
He's spitting it out.
he's spitting it out. Or you'll feel
Yeah.
him thump, and you set the hook, and you come back, and you're like, oh, he just ate the pictures. You're right, because on those creature baits, they're not eating the whole thing. They're just
Yep.
getting the butt in.
I've seen that like in the spawn where I'm fishing for a bedfish, and the bass will eat half the bait right up to the hook end.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will swing because, oh, he ate the bait. No, he's just got the flappers
Yeah.
in his mouth. And so what you have to do is, this is only for the spawn, by the way, if you gently shake it, he'll suck it in.
Yeah.
That fish is swimming off. If he spit it out, he spit it out. Tough luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if he's got it and holding, swimming because he wants to move it away from the nest, all you got to do is pull it a little bit, like he's getting away, and he will suck it in every single time. That's a great bed fishing tip for everybody. You got to be relaxed enough not to swing when you first think he's eating it, because you got to look. You got to look. You got to be. That's why a white bait will help you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to see down there on a green pumpkin how far is it in his mouth.
Right. I'll tell you, it's really caught on the last few years is guys throwing swim baits for fish on the bed.
Very true, man. Hey, man, when I was with Travis in Alabama, he had an epic frog day. So day 2, we come back, and I'm like, man, I want to throw my swim bait. I'm in the back of the boat. I don't got the angles, and finally I go, dude, let me get up front and get the angles that I need for the swim bait, because the big females were on the 5 to 6 foot drop. The males had moved up, and there were some big males up there. But anyway, the males, I wanted to see how fish would react to this near their beds. I pitched this into the beds. I had fish biting at it. I didn't have everybody destroy it, but they all followed it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started casting parallel to the bank, and within like 15, 20 minutes, I had a 6 in the boat on this bait. Saw him eat it.
Yeah.
Freaking cool,
And then the
dude.
guys are
This will make a fish pissed off in a bed. You throw a big-ass bait like that in the bed, they will get
Right.
pissed.
and we're not trying to snag them. Well, a lot of times it does. It shows you where those fish are.
Oh, they'll show themselves in the spawn with a big glide bait. Big time. Big time. And then you got the rat baits for post-spawn. Do those fish in your lakes wolf pack?
Yes.
Dude, have you ever thrown big rats for them?
I'm not a big rat guy, but I got a buddy that's making them.
You got to get him to send you one. When your fish on your lake start to wolf pack, you'll be calling me, thanking me by throwing a rat.
Was that an NZ?
Make sure. No, yeah, it's in the Zuma.
Yeah.
It's the large side in leopard, and that yellow belly, man, with the little orange, little bit of burnt orange on there, man. Those fish on Norman literally destroyed this bait. I caught the winning fish in practice. Why was I throwing hooks in practice? What an idiot!
I do
I
it all
can't
the time.
believe it. Oh man, I was so pissed at myself. I don't know that the fish would have hit it again. It was a pine tree laydown.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy got the first cast, and I don't know why. He had his homemade rat from Carolina, which kind of looked like, just basically a broomstick, but it had a sexy action. There was something about the subtle knock of this Nazuma that just the fish wanted it that day. This was the performer in practice, man. I should have not been throwing hooks, man.
I'm going to
I
pull up
regret
my
that.
buddy's Instagram. He's a PE teacher.
Oh,
And
really?
of course, he's on the lockdown. And it'll pull these up. He just gotten into bait making. Of course, my internet's acting a fool right now.
What's his name?
Look up
I'll look him up.
Narrow Gate Baits.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find him.
And it's just his photo is just him. His name's Sam. So Sam, if you're watching this, I'm giving you a shout out. All this stuff's really raw, but man, he is making rats, and they're not like you look at him and go, "Oh man, that's the best looking rat I've ever seen." You're not gonna get blown away, but then when you watch the action on them, you're gonna go, "Oh,
Here's his rat.
yeah."
Oh wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a video of it swimming.
Yeah, let's see it swimming. If you guys want to stay with me for a second, is that showing up all right?
Showing up good.
All right. He just casted it out, so let's see if we can get it coming back in.
It's got a sick action to it. He stops it and twitches it, but it's got that. Yeah, he's sitting there twitching. It's turning 90 degrees.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Anyway, man, there it is. Narrow Gate, Narow Gate.
Yeah.
Gate.
See that? There's a chrome one on there.
Yeah, let me see. He's got one.
He's got a black and purple one. You know what he uses as a tail is a zoom beat head.
Yeah, this looks like a trick worm on that one.
Yeah. I mean, they're not look just like a rat, like what you're throwing.
It don't matter.
But he's kind of
the action that they respond to.
He's figured out he's figured out which style of wood or which way he makes the wood or the joints make different swims. And they're not real polished, but dude, the action's really good on them things.
Yeah, man. No doubt, man.
Of course, he's tried making swim baits and stuff, and they're very raw. But he's got a balsa duplicator.
Oh, that's a great swim video right there.
Yeah, I don't even think he's selling them to the public. He's just making them
just for fun.
Just for fun. Y'all go follow my buddy Sam there on Instagram, Narrowgate Baits. He's a good dude, man. That's the first guy that ever took me bow fishing.
Really,
dude. Now that's fun. I mean, that's really fun. It's really redneck, but it's really fun.
Nice, man. What kind of? All right, so here's a question. I see people talking about flipping tubes and the tube hook. What? Tell me about your favorite flipping hook, because the bite is the bitch, right? You got to have a wide gap. So I'm gonna take mine out.
I've got mine right here.
All right. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. And this would be, I would throw a bigger gap. I would throw a bigger hook.
This is it right here. This is an Owner Jungle.
Wide gap. Oh, you got the Jungle Beast?
No, this is an Owner Jungle Wide Gap. You see this, how that Z-neck's a little bit longer?
That's a Z-neck, yeah.
That right there is the best flipping tube hook. This is a 4/0. You can go up to a 5. My guy Dustin Taylor that was telling us about the blade on that Tempo, I turned him on to this hook right here for flipping a tube, and he absolutely swears by it. And I think this is a badass tube hook. It's got just a little bit wider gap for that body, and the way that sits in that tube, man, it's perfect. Just barely to expose it. I've tried all kinds of stuff, just a wide gap gammy and stuff like that, and that G-Lock. You remember Gamakatsu made that G-Lock?
I'm in love with the G-Lock, man.
That's a really good hook. This one's made of that Zo-wire. It's not going to have any bend to it. Stays super sharp.
There's the G-Lock for you, man. I've been throwing that a lot, and that's what I power shot with, man, is that G-Lock right there. That thing is juice right there. And the hook point on the G-Lock tips up a little bit. I love it, man. I love it. It sticks them solid. Here's something crazy for you. So I'm down in Bama, and I'm throwing this freaking merthiolate worm. And I did something. I did something different though.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna blow your mind here, man. I caught a 6 before we went to see Jimmy Houston with Travis because he was down at the same lakes we were.
Did y'all get Jimmy a haircut?
I know, man. But he did his daily devotional, so I nose hooked it with a weedless hook. How about that?
There you go.
It's got got a little weed guard, and man, the action on this thing was stupid. They wanted it, man. I caught them regular on it, man. Anyway, good stuff.
So Mark Daniels Jr. blew a lot of
it.
people's mind when he brought that floating worm out. Like just
Why?
watching that reaction
Why did
on
nobody throw it?
the reaction.
What happened to it?
So he caught some giant fish on Major League Fishing at Fork on the floating worm. There's so many people that had never seen that, and that's kind of one of those deals, man. If you know about it, you don't talk about it because it catches them. But
right. And by the way, I was throwing that before the tournament started.
Oh yeah.
And no, I don't know. No, I don't know Mark Daniels personally. And I caught my big fish of the second day. Well, I actually had two, like close to 6. So that was.
I always
that
just throw a methylate, and then a Zoom makes a color called sherbet, which looks like the ice cream, that orange and yellow and some pink.
That's right.
Man, that thing catches them. There's a window, and it's about right where those fish are just coming up. They're not really bedding. They're just hanging out.
Yep.
They're cruising.
Yep.
And that
great search bait.
Floating worm in front of them just nails them.
Isn't that crazy?
Just a simple, just a worm on a hook, man. That's all it really is.
Isn't that nuts, man? That's all it is. Now, do you throw a swivel about 6 inches in front of your floating worm?
Yeah, I do.
Because that'll help it go down a little bit quicker.
And gets a line twist out of there.
That's right. And what's your favorite? What's your favorite hook?
I just use
just
like
a regular old J bend.
Yeah, I just use like a 3/0, straight shank.
Gammy.
Hook. Yep.
You use a straight shank or you use a J bend?
Straight shank.
Straight shank. Interesting. I always do a J bend.
And most of that's because I'm lazy. But how I was always taught, Mike Otten taught me how to fish that thing. I filmed him for a classic patterns, and he caught him on that. But he leaves that worm at the top. He leaves the bend in it. When you expose it, a lot of people want it perfectly straight, and I've done it.
Yeah.
They do better if there's just a little crook, a little bend in the nose of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the old frickin' 3 hook models, right?
The touchdown worm.
Icon.
Yeah.
Or the icon. The Ikecon, or whatever the hell that thing was called, man. Just swimming that thing, just steady reeling that thing, and it's corkscrewing through the water. I used to do that with a man's jelly worm.
Yeah, and then
I read an article somewhere, probably in Bassmaster, with the swivel and just reeling it, man. Oh my gosh!
And then there's that Danny Joe floating worm, really high buoyancy.
I mean, Danny Joe invented a floating worm, didn't he? Didn't you tell me that?
I believe so.
Somebody told me that. I think you probably told me.
Yeah, that was the very original one.
I fished his tournament series down in Carolina, Bojangles, man. Danny Joe Humphrey.
He's a legend. A lot of people don't talk about him.
Man. No, man. Wasn't he in the Classic a couple times, man? I don't know how many times he made it.
I made it. I just didn't fish it. I just got to ride through in the back of a Toyota to the weigh-in.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I don't think Bass was too happy, but that's okay. He'll get over it.
Why didn't you fish it?
Ooh, bud, I'm not a good fisherman. I don't know about the baits.
I got you. What do you think about Hayabusa hooks? Somebody just asked.
I've never used them.
So Hayabusa makes a little. Where is it? I got them somewhere here. Oh yeah, there is that it? No, that's the reins. I got them behind it. There you go. Called the Brush Easy. And I went down and fished Bull Shoals with Larry Nixon. And this was his Ned rig hook. The Hayabusa Brush Easy. It is small.
Really?
Only for the finesse one. Yeah. Now, Rains is making something. And what's cool about this one, it has a double weed guard. And it's just 2 strands of monofilm. Probably fluorocarbon. So, just 2 strands. So it's pretty cool. Comes through brush really nice. Brush Easy by Hayabusa. And that's a super sticky, sharp freaking hook, man. But Rains has a similar thing called it's their cover jig head, and that's got a straight weed guard on it. And I love that for the finesse style Ned. You talk about a fish catching machine, that Ned rig. Oh my God!
Did you enjoy fishing with Larry Nixon, aka the General?
I loved fishing with Larry Nixon, man. That was a blast, man. So I bid on something on eBay called it was for the Future of Fishing Foundation. I think I read about it somewhere in the back of Bassmaster, and it said that they were putting up a day on the water or a half day on the water with pros, and you can go to eBay. So I looked at Future Fishing Foundation, popped up Casey Ashley, Dayon Hartwell. It was Larry Nixon on Bull Shoals. It was Matt Lee on Gunnersville. So I won the trip with Matt Lee on Gunnersville and Bull Shoals with Larry. Drove out to see Larry, man. Met him. He was eating dinner, talked to him for a little bit, popped into my room, woke up, fished a half day. He had 3 rods on the deck. He had a Super Spook Junior, which I had because I was fishing the day before with a guide.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Ned rig. The guide wasn't throwing it, but I was. And then a Buzzbait. And we went to work, man. He is awesome. He had so many stories, man. I asked him, I said, where'd your nickname come from? Do you know the story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I don't know. You tell the story. I want to see how it compares to
No, I was just saying to say to your comment. I don't know the story. I did have a really cool meeting with Larry Dixon. I think I don't. This was years ago, but remember when they had the original Bass universities?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Before Ike got involved and all that.
Yeah.
It was though. So they had one at the Paducah Expo Center, and I got a call from someone that said, "Hey, this is so and so with Bass. Mr. Auten said that you might could pick Larry Nixon up at the Nashville airport." So I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But my dad's like, "Oh yeah, I want to go." He said, "I'll drive." I said, "Okay, don't weird him out or nothing. Don't be like Dumb and Dumber, That's how I was thinking it was going to go. My dad would be looking back there asking questions and driving on oncoming traffic. But so we picked Larry up, and he's super nice, super cordial, and talking to us. And said, "Well, y'all fish Kentucky Lake much?" And I just looked back and be like, "Every day." And he told me the whole story about the Rogue and that 93 Bassmasters, all the big smallmouth. I'll be there in a little bit. All those guys just crushing those big smallmouth. He said, we came in that lake thinking it was going to be a largemouth tournament. And everyone found out that tournament, that Kentucky Lake was just full of giant smallmouth. And he would tell he was telling me every spot he fished, and I'm like, man, I fished that spot, but I didn't fish it like that and all that. And super cordial guy, and every now and then I talk to him on Facebook, and he remembers us taking him, but he is a really nice guy, and
very much so, man.
He's a very versatile fisherman too. A lot of people think he's.
Yes, he is.
A lot of guys just think he's the old school worm guy, but he's a good flipper. Mm-hmm. He's a good jerkbait fisherman. He could get it done with a crankbait.
Yep.
I'd like to see him, fishing more. I think he's kind of taking a little hiatus. He's kind of at the age he's probably ready to retire a little bit, but.
He talked about that a little bit, man. So I'll tell you the story about how he got his nickname, the General. But he talked about the wear and tear that, tournament fishing took on him for as many years as he's been doing it. Mm-hmm. He's like in certain joints on his body, he's got no cartilage left, man. It's just gone for repetitive use injury. If you think about it, I mean, in a tournament, how many times are you casting in a day if you're really active? 1,000 times? Mm-hmm. Multiply that 5 days in a row for practice and tournament days. That's just a lot. Anyway, so I said, how'd you get the nickname the General? And he goes, I think he was leading the tournament, or like maybe not leading, like in 3rd or 4th place or something like that. And he was headed down lake just to make sure he could catch his limit. And he's got the camera guy with him. And he comes off pad. And he's thinking to himself, what the hell am I doing? He goes, there is no way I'm going to win this tournament just trying to catch 5. I'm going for the W. And he turns the boat around. And he heads back the other way. Mm-hmm. And so when he got to his spot, the cameraman said, why did you come off pad and turn around? He goes, because I just decided that the only way I was going to win this tournament was to swing for the fences. And the cameraman said, only a general would make a call like that.
Yeah.
And he started calling him the General. There you go, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story, isn't it? I think I got it kind of right. It was definitely
Don't you think it's odd though that he got cut by Berkeley and then they come out with a Cinco named the General?
That's just, why do you cut a guy that's been so good?
That's a kick in the nuts.
It truly is, man. I mean, come on.
And man. You know what, Larry, classy guy. Someone made a big cut. I forgot what I posted on Facebook, and it got to comment, and someone said, yeah, just like Berkeley calling their Cinco the General after Nary licks. And Larry replied and was very cordial. He said, no, it didn't have anything to do with me. I didn't design it. That was just a name they come up with. No hard feelings. But in the back of my mind, if I'm Larry Nixon, I would want to put, yeah, they definitely kicked me in the balls on that one, But Larry's, you'll never get anything like that negative out of him like that.
No, man, he's awesome. He's awesome. He's a fine man. I'll tell you that much, man. I mad respect for him. So after that, I went to Gunnersville with Matt Lee and fished for like 3 or 4 days straight, man. Throwing the Nico. That's when I got introduced to the Nico. We did some ledge fishing. First time I ever threw a 6XD. I was like, this is ridiculous, man. I mean, singing that thing out there, man. It's just like, just reeling it, just to grinding it and burning as fast as you could. Nuts, man. Yeah, I've heard of sniper lures out of Ottawa. I met the guy someplace. Where the heck did I meet him? I think at a show. Said he was going to send me some to try. I never got my pack, man. I was all fired up. I'm like, yeah, man, I love Zoom. And I started talking about it. He goes, you got to try my baits. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Yeah, I was going to even order some, but I never got my.
That won't be the last time that happens. I've had so many people say, "Yeah, man, I'll send you some with your address," and I never get them, and that's okay. I understand people get sidetracked, and dude, I'm the worst, man. I do giveaways on Facebook and all that.
Yeah,
and it might take me 3 or 4 weeks to send something out. It's not because I'm ignoring you; it's just I get busy and I forget.
Busy. I hear you, man. Now, is it true? Is it true that Reckham is built on Ed Chambers' old tooling? Because I'm looking at that bait, and I'm looking at my E1s, and I'm like, it's different.
It is. Well, I was told that by 2 guys on the Elite Series and 1 guy I really trust. But
it doesn't look the same.
He might use the same tooling, which there's only so many guys that got one of these machines. You know, Phil Hunt's got 1 or 2 of them. And then I guess Cliff Pace does, and Ed had the rest. But it doesn't.
What are they going
like
to do with all that old machinery, man? And will they bring it? Why wouldn't? Does Ed have any kids?
I don't know. I think he does.
Well, hold on. Let me get an E1. I'm gonna get an E1. I'm gonna get an Ira C. What other squirrel bill can we get out? I'll get a Black Label out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but I don't have the Wreck-It. So. We all know, I mean, hey, truth be told, I mean, wasn't the E1 is built after the Bagley?
Yeah, it was. Bagley B1.
All right. So I'm going to get the Bagley B1, and this is definitely from Winter Park in the early days. This is all brass. So there's your Bagley B1.
Yep.
And that is all brass. So that's early 70s, right, Baxter?
Yep.
Okay,
that's
so let's
the
compare
one that everybody wants.
So let's talk about, so that's the B1, and let's go to the E1 because people go crazy over the E1, right? Let's look at the bills. So first thing I notice about the Zoom E1 and the B1 is the E1 has a longer lip.
Yep. It's also the E1, a little bit more roundage.
That's right, and the E1 is a bigger bait than the B1. Slightly, not much. So they're both weighted properly, and I'd say the bill angle is exact. The bill angle matches up exactly. All right, so that's that. So here's a guy that's making one. This is a little bit bigger than all of them so far, and this is his, I think, replica of the B1. So this is the Ira C, a much bigger bait than the B1. But bill angle, he nailed it, but it's a much bigger bait. I mean, you guys can see that, right?
Yep.
And I didn't do that. Let's see if the shape of the B1 and the E1 from Zoom is about the same. Yeah. I mean, the shape is about the same. Man, I mean, damn, that's damn close. Yep. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it, right? But the E1 definitely has is a longer lip.
You ever noticed like a 10XD or is the same body style of a Series 4 or Series 5 Strike King?
Yeah.
And where your 5 and 6 have or actually this, 5 and 6 have their own different body style. I never understood why they didn't do a 6XD with the, Series 5 style. Well, they made a Series 6, but
that's right.
I also think that's why the 10XD catches them so good.
Oh, that's what I was showing, the 10XD, the big giant one. That thing wore me out, dude.
I love it.
I don't know how y'all just throw it.
Bite ever. That's why my left shoulder's probably been hurting me lately from all the miles I've logged on it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Dude, when that thing first come out, it was like the Magnum spoon. These fish had never seen a crankbait that dived 26 foot, and they would just
ain't that the truth?
But I like the 8. But honestly, a 6XD would dive just about as deep as an 8XD.
Now, why doesn't Rapala make a DT8?
I wish they did.
Because the 6 to the 8 is a big jump in size.
They made the DT flat 7. It's in between.
I got one.
The flat 7's good, but it is not the same action as a regular DT.
Now, are they bringing out the Slim Shad? And is the Slim Shad?
They're supposed to at the Classic, but I guess they're going to do it at ICAST. And they got new Haute de Faux colors in the DT.
Oh, he's going to have that big Shad out that he caught them Jaints on down there, isn't he?
Yeah. We got to get Jaints catching on the East Coast, by the way.
What is?
We got to get Jaints catching on the East Coast.
Oh, that color?
Just the word
The Jaint juice?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I fish a Reaper style bait. This is a great bait to Carolina rig, and it's not. Yeah, it's a Donna Avino Reaper right there. Man, that thing's got some saucy action. That is a great Carolina rig bait right there.
So Upton's Plastics, California, they make a 9-inch Reaper, and those guys in Chickamauga put them on those big shaky heads.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a mag worm.
I'm gonna show you this, man. Casey at 6 cents is gonna whip my ass. I hate to tell you, but you know what? It'll work in the long run because I sell him a lot of baits. This is a prototype 6 cents worm.
Oh, dude, look at that thing. That's a Reaper style right there.
Very big, flat, long tail. But you see the body, you know, that's only big enough for about a 5/0 hook. But,
oh, man, that's a post-spawn
So I sent
right
this
there,
I sent a picture of this to Matt Allen.
Was he dying?
I sent him that, and I showed off a big segmented worm. Well, I got them right here. Got them all over. Like this big guy right here. That's almost 11-inch ringworm. A straight tail. And I thought, I'll get Matt's thought, because I'm not huge on the Reaper style. You know what he says? I'm more interested in this one. He said, that is a great idea, and I like it. And I was like, well, if Matt says that, maybe I'm thinking the wrong things.
Now you're talking about going into some, like, giant-sized plastics and stuff, man. What about this one, man? What about this dude? The Coach Whip, 16 inches of plastic.
Oh, yeah, I've got one of those.
Did you throw it yet?
Yeah, I caught 4 or 5 fish on it, actually.
Were they big? Did you get big ones, some Jaints?
No, they're just 3-pounders.
Dang.
There's a company called Magnum Baits, man. They make an 11-inch Cinco, and I need to order some more. I'm down to about 2. But did you catch them on it? Yes. You put that on a Magnum Nico rig. It is unreal.
Good ones.
Yeah. I caught a couple 5s on it. But they don't last very long, man, because they're real soft like a Cinco. And when you catch one on it, they get out and they start shaking their head. It's always the 2 to 3 pounders that rip your baits. The big ones eat it, you know.
What about the stubborn grub from Cream, man? Come on.
Yeah, so I think that
11 inches.
I think Magnum Baits was making that stuff for Cream.
Might have been.
The guy that sent them to me, he was like on the Cream pro staff. He's a good friend, but he's really just good friends with the Creamy people. And he's like, let me get you some of this stuff. And he sent me some of those grubs. I like them.
Dude, what about the, I mean, can you imagine swimming that through a grass bed?
Yeah, dude. It's like that big talons I use on my big spinnerbaits and stuff.
Yeah, right? That'd be huge. That's what I'm talking about, man. How about the old jelly worms somebody was saying, the big old ones, the mag jelly worms? I mean, didn't Paul Elias kind of almost, did he set a record down there on Falcon?
Yeah. Dude, I got the biggest creature bait ever. Hold on just a second if I can reach it without knocking my stuff. Man.
Yep. Mauler. That's right. Giant creature bait. There you go.
Oh, this is going to be tough.
Hey, Nate, what do you want me to take out, man? The
Y'all
grub
might get
or
teabagged.
the He wanted me to take something out of the pack. Which one? The grub or the the grub. All right, hold on, man. I'll do it. Why not, man? Let's get some stuff out. We're gonna spare no expense in this coronavirus shutdown for the viewers.
All my soft plastics are on a wall across from it. This ain't as big as I thought, but it's a pretty giant creature bait. This is from
That's a damn giant creature bait.
This is from a company called Crack, and it's called
Crack.
It's called the Bunny Hog. But they make a creature bait, and it's not called this, and it's almost 10 inches long.
Have you seen the bellows gills?
Are you gonna throw those? In person. I had, man. This is a really good company. A guy connected with them sent me a bunch of stuff 2 years ago. And
there you go. Here's the grub.
Dude,
look, I mean, sick. I can't even hold it in the whole screen, man. Look at that thing.
That is,
dude.
Sick.
I mean, I think you put that on that jungle hook right there.
Oh yeah.
And just swim that through a grass. That's like a snake, man.
Yeah, dude.
That thing's got to get eaten.
Remember the man's hard-nosed snake?
Yes.
Yeah. So a company used to be in Jackson, Tennessee. Harville Lures. They made a snake too. It didn't have the hard nose, and I forgot the exact name of it. But man, when I was growing up, my dad threw that all the time, and he caught some monsters on it. And he always caught them using a real light weight, like an 1/8 ounce bullet weight, and just
that's what I mean.
Slowly, constantly moving it on the bottom.
Dang.
And it was always around the spawn, so I figured there has to be some kind of connection with a snake and bed fish.
Dude, I'm gonna throw that around the spawn, man. Just crawl that thing with just freaking around the spawn. You got to figure, man. So that it just begs the question, dude. Big baits. Do big baits catch big bass? 11-inch Senkos, freaking 11-inch stubber. If you need a kicker, why not just be chucking big ass baits?
I think because you don't get bit a lot and people lose confidence really quick.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that's also why the Ned rig's so popular.
Yeah, you get a lot of bites.
You get a lot of bites, action from kids to women.
True.
Not saying women are bad fishermen, but some of them are just impatient, like my wife.
That's right. I'm trying to find that Doug Hannon snake bait. I got them somewhere.
Yeah, man, I remember that thing.
It came in a cardboard box. They float. It's somewhere in
Speaking
here.
of wife, mine just said supper's ready. She's about, we've been on here for ready, 2 hours.
I think so.
Oh gosh, 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So
no, it was 8 o'clock my time. It's 3, dude. It's 11 here.
Yeah, dude.
This is a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
And it only felt like a couple hours. That's crazy. Well, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump off here.
Bro.
I don't want happy wife, happy life. I don't want to get Lorena bobbited or anything. So she'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you something else floating on Instagram." But anyway, Eric, I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry we were late. Me and Eric were trying to get this thing working. I just had to restart my computer. So, but we'll get Eric back on here again. Let's get you on right before ledge season so I can really bust out the good stuff. Some stuff you may not have. Because you don't.
I probably won't have any of it because that's exactly right. I'm gonna be watching and taking notes and drooling. Yeah, we don't
put power poles on our boats here.
That's right. That's right, man. Hey, if anybody wants to give me a follow on Instagram, it's at Epic Eric Official.
Yep.
At
and
Epic Eric Official.
I'm gonna put a link to that in the description on the video. I'm gonna re-thumbnail this thing and all that stuff after I get done.
That's right.
And
Baxter, another great show. We were all over the place, man. But that's why I like talking to you, man. Me too, man. I love it.
I know Travis likes to stay on topic. Me and him want.
He does.
I need to get him on here, but I might be too scatterbrained for Travis.
Yeah, you know what? Get him. He talked to me about it, and I go, Baxter wants you on, man. I said, he goes, you're the bait guy, and I'm like, I got that. He's the bait guy too, but I said, just talk about smallies. That's your thing.
That's what we need to do. I want to talk the difference between smallmouth fishing up north and fishing for them here on the Tennessee River. Totally different animals.
100%, man, and he'll be able to tell you all about the northern
difference between
smallies.
Vegas hookers and the hookers over here in Western Kentucky. Throwing
a 5-inch swim bait with a 3/4 ounce head and heavy current, man. I'm like, wow, what is this? This is crazy. I was catching drum like left and right. Finally caught like a 5-pound smallmouth at the end of the day, and I'm like, yeah. But them southern smallmouths they're thick.
Yeah, man.
Crazy, man. Crazy stuff. They are mean. Great stuff, man. Hey, man, thanks again for having me on.
No problem.
Kevin. I appreciate it. Baitman.
I look for it. I looked forward to it all week. I knew something
All
bad
right.
was going to happen when we tried to get it going, but that happens every time.
But we worked it out. No echo.
No
echo
echo
this time. That's awesome, man.
Didn't have to drop an F-bomb.
Good stuff.
Eric, thanks so much, guys.
That's
Make sure
right.
you follow
All right,
Eric
man.
on Instagram. If you're not
Peace on
subscribed
out,
to this
everybody.
channel, hit that button. Y'all, God bless.
You know it.
And stay safe.
Yeah, man. Stay safe.